27 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A very fine two-way hockey player. He now has 105 points, which is more points than any Maple Leaf has ever registered in a season in the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs. A very fine player, and they say as Darryl Sittler goes, so goes the Toronto Maple Leafs. And another Maple Leaf just recently acquired Dan Maloney in a trade that has everybody buzzing and talking. He's wearing number 9 over from the Detroit Red Wings, rather, in a trade that looks to be kind of one-sided. 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks along with Errol Thompson. So we'll have to watch Dan Maloney, but he does give the Toronto Maple Leafs some additional muscle, Fred.
And in goal tonight for Toronto, it'll be Mike Palmateer, and for Boston, Ron Graham. We'll have the opening face-off in just a minute.
When it's stew time and you're hungry, turn to Brigham's.
When you can't go home to soup time, turn to Brigham's. When your tummy starts to talk and you don't have to do much walking, the next time you get hungry, turn to Brigham's.
When the movie's done, you're hungry, turn to Brigham's.
When the home team's finally won one, turn to Brigham's. We've been doing lots more cooking. When you're hungry, take a look in. The next time you get hungry, turn to Brigham's.
What you doing, dear?
Underlining numbers we call in the phone book.
You're writing in the phone book? If the phone company finds out...
Oh, the phone company wants you to do it. It's quicker and easier than calling directory assistance. Anyway, it's our phone book, right?
Well, I guess.
Here, mark the numbers you call a lot.
You sure it's all right?
Uh-huh. What you doing, Dad?
Nothing. Nothing.
Well, we're all set for action, but prior to that, the singing of the Canadian and American national anthems. Rennie Roncourt will sing them, and John Kiley will be at the organ.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. With glowing heart we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free, and stand on guard, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, glorious and free, we stand on guard, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still
Well, the officials for tonight's game, the referee, John McCauley, Leon Stickle on our right, and on our left is Will Norris. And in goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mike Palmateer, and the Leafs have gotten better goaltending than they might have expected at the start of the season. This youngster has really played extremely well. 2.65 goals against average, an excellent goals against average, while at the other end of the ice, 2.58, also extremely good. Ron Graham, who has played in a lot of games for the Bruins lately, 13 out of the last 14 is in between the pipes tonight for the Boston Bruins. And now for the great play-by-play from the Boston Garden, here's Fred Cusick.
Well, the big story, of course, would be Dan Maloney, who's there at left wing. Terry O'Reilly has checked, and the puck to O'Reilly, and he snaps it in wide of Palmateer. And Palmateer covers up. This broadcast authorized by the Boston Bruins Hockey Club solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the accounts and descriptions of this game without the express written consent of the Boston Bruins or TV 38 is prohibited. 27-year-old Dan Maloney, there you see him at left wing. At center, Sittler, one of the greats. And at right wing, Lanny McDonald, a big line. Maloney broken up by Park inside the line for O'Reilly. O'Reilly for McNabb. And O'Reilly was hit by Glennie as the puck goes in. And here's O'Reilly and Maloney going at it again. Right away. Maloney and O'Reilly flailing away at each other. I thought it was Glennie who tagged O'Reilly. And Maloney now hanging on, holding there, and O'Reilly trying to get loose and throw some punches, and the linesman, a tough assignment for Leon Stickle and for Willard Norris. So it might have been Maloney who tagged O'Reilly and flattened him with a hard hit. I thought it was Glennie, but they right up O'Reilly flailing away at Dan Maloney. And the linesmen finally move in. And they had an earlier fight in Detroit, you'll recall, O'Reilly and Maloney in the last meeting in the 2-2 game before he was traded to Toronto.
And one other thing, Fred, I don't know whether this had any effect on it or not, is the fact that Maloney was the one that hit Doak prior to the Hextall check, which put him out.
With this break in the action, let's pause for this message. This is Fred Cusick for Eastern Airlines. If the right place for you is Atlanta in the South, Eastern has the right time for you. 5 non-stops to Atlanta are conveniently scheduled from early morning to evening, and 5 non-stops back make it just as easy to return. In all, Eastern serves 23 cities in the South from Boston, like Birmingham, Charleston, and Memphis, including the only non-stop to New Orleans. So if you're flying from Atlanta or the South, call your travel agent or Eastern Airlines in Boston or Worcester. Eastern's got the right time and the right place for you.
Well, recently acquired Dan Maloney from the Red Wings to the Toronto Maple Leafs, a first-round pick in '70 by the Chicago Blackhawks, played for the London Knights. Then he went from there to Los Angeles, and then he came over from Los Angeles in that trade with Marcel Dion and Terry Harper. And a big battle between O'Reilly and Maloney here with 19 seconds gone in the first period. And Maloney obviously brought over from the Red Wings for his added muscle. A lot of significance to the check, one thing, and of course the back to the Doak thing in Red Wings. I think if you add that all together, O'Reilly may have had that in the back of his mind.
Well, they get 5-minute majors and a heavy go, and the puck now faced to Rick Smith to Wensink. And he's pinned along the boards and can't get free on a face-off again in the Toronto end. And Toronto has brought up Kurt Walker from Hingham, Massachusetts. He's out there at right wing on a line with Dave Williams at left wing, and at center it is Jones against McNabb, Wensink, Cashman, O'Brien, and Smith. Johansson and Turnbull on defense for Toronto. Just underway, and the big fight in the first minute, Maloney and O'Reilly. The draw to Rick Smith, over to O'Brien. His shot is blocked by Turnbull. Turnbull out to Kurt Walker. Walker plays it in, going to the corner, and Jones there too, and a jam up. The Leafs were beaten last night by Pittsburgh at home, a real surprise. And as you said, that will only make them tougher tonight, John.
Well, they usually are. I know going back, and this is going back a few years, but the Leafs, if you could beat them Saturday night at home, or somebody did, you always have to watch out at the opening part of the game on the road.
O'Brien wheels it around. Cashman moves it out, and McNabb has a break. He's over the line. He's with Winsick. He's moving in and got it in front, but it's knocked away by Johansson at the last minute and cleared. Rick Smith plays it back to O'Brien. O'Brien, Rick Smith. Williams a hit on O'Brien, and here they go. Dennis O'Brien and Williams. And Williams trying to get free. O'Brien has him wrapped up. A bear hug, which is the way to do it. I think Williams is getting the high sticking call and then the fight. And they're still locked in kind of a bear hug. Dave Williams and Dennis O'Brien. And now the linesmen have a very tough assignment, and they get them separated. From Boston Garden, the score, Boston nothing and Toronto nothing.
The great Ford drive is really rolling throughout New England. Yes, the better ideas keep coming from your Ford dealer. Thousands of specially ordered 78 Fords. Like this mid-size Fairmont wagon with about 90% of the passenger space of full-size wagons and a surprisingly low sticker price. We've got the cars you want. So get on the move during the great Ford drive. Get a great buy at your New England Ford dealer now.
Well, we've got an explosive start here at the Boston Garden, the 5th meeting of the year between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. They will meet a total of 6 times, being in the same division. And Boston has fared pretty well. They've won 3 and tied 1. They have one more meeting in Toronto. And we've got the penalties. Williams gets 2 minutes for high sticking and 5 minutes for fighting. And O'Brien draws a 5-minute major penalty for fighting, so the 5s cancel off. The Leafs will be shorthanded for the next 2 minutes. It'll be 5 on 4.
So lots of fighting, not much hockey, and the best break was McNabb's moving down the right wing side, but he couldn't get an effective shot away on Mike Palmatier. Jones and Butler with Salming and Glennie, and for Boston the power play, Shepard between Cashman and Busick with Park and McNabb. .104 the time of the Williams-O'Brien outbreak. Puck to the Leafs, they clear it. O'Reilly and Maloney went out after 19 seconds. Park starts it away. Up for Shepard, tipped in wide of Palmatier. McNabb goes in. Jones trying to clear it. Park keeps it in. Takes a hit, gets it to Cashman. Cashman over on the boards, it goes to Busick. Back for Shepard. Shepard holding. Over to Park. His shot missed. Fought for. Salming. Busick. Busick to Cashman. Cashman wheels off in the corner. And flipped it. Shepard keeps it in. The shot high. The long rebound. Cashman. To McNabb cutting in front. McNabb wheels. Shot blocked by Glennie. Kept in by Cashman. To McNabb. Back for Park. Up for McNabb. Over to Busick, intercepted by Salming and cleared away. 50 seconds left on the penalty. The Bruins with 44 power play goals. And Park starts it out. For McNabb. To Busick. For Shepard. To Park. Shot blocked in front. Goes wide. Busick. Salming battle. And around the boards, it's back to Park. Park holding. Into Busick. He can't get it. Now Cashman trying on the other side for Shepard. To Park. For McNabb. He's covered by Turnbull. Salming trying to clear and does. 12 seconds left on the Bruins power play. Park down. Pokes it up now to Jonathan. Jonathan starting out. Too many men on the ice. Possible penalty against Boston. And that's it coming up. From Boston Garden, a break in the action. This is the Boston Bruins Television Network. Off for Schmatz over the line. Fires. It's wide. Rebound. Marcotte in front. Scores! John Rendell! When the Bruins score on TV, you win at the finest. Every time the Bruins score on TV 38, you can win a pair of tickets to a Bruins home game and $25 in gift certificates at the finest. You can even win a vacation for two in sunny San Juan. Enter now at any finest supermarket and watch on TV 38. Score at the finest.
Well, sometimes when a team is changing, the man going off is a little slow to get to the bench, or the man on the bench a little premature getting onto the ice, and the combination of the two sometimes catches a team with 6 men on the ice, and the Bruins have just been assessed a too many men on the ice penalty at the 3-minute mark of the first period.
And 4 seconds. Four seconds left on the Bruins penalty, or rather on Williams' penalty, and right now it's a power play for Toronto. Boston with Milbury and Rick Smith on defense, Marcotte and Bob Miller up front. The power play for Toronto, no score in the game. Cashman is serving, too many men in the box. 52 power plays for Toronto. And this is Wilson, a rookie, for McDonald. Broken up, center ice, Rick Smith. Turnbull on it again now. Sittler, McDonald, Boutet, the forward line. And the puck rides up, and Boutet has it over the line, hit by Marcotte. Keeps it in. Checked by Marcotte. Rick Smith trying to wheel it around. Does. And outside the line. Wilson, the rookie, and Miller, the rookie, after him. And the pass up goes to Boutet. Plays it back deep to Turnbull. Boston short-handed. No score in the game. And Boutet starts it out. Looking for Sittler. Sittler over the line. The shot. Bouncer and a hard shot and a save by Ron Graham. And 1 minute exactly left on the penalty. This afternoon, Chicago beat Pittsburgh 9-1. In every Bruins hockey game, Schlitz Light Beer will name the most valuable player of the game. In the meantime, remember, it took Schlitz to bring the taste to light.
And that one other game completed this afternoon, St. Louis at Washington. The Blues won it 3-2 over the Capitals, but last night the Capitals did it to Cleveland 8-2.
Sittler trying to get the face-off. Back for young Wilson. Wilson loses to Marcotte. With Shepard. Clears it in deep. And Shepard in forechecking. Try to sweep it back, but Sittler collects. His pass stopped by Rick Smith. And fed right back in the Leaf zone. 40 seconds left in the penalty. Saming is out now. Bumped by Shepard, and Shepard goes down on a ricochet off the check. Saming with Sittler starting out. Marcotte, Shepard, the penalty killers. And it goes up to young Wilson. Wilson to Sittler. He kicks it in the zone. Graham out. Trying to wheel it around. Stopped by Lanny McDonald. Kicked free to Sittler. Broken up, Rick Smith. Around for Marcotte. Marcotte clears out. 10 seconds left on the penalty. Rattel is out for Boston. Saming moves it off to Mike Pelech, who's playing forward. Now to Sittler. Back for Pelech. He's taken to the boards by Milbury on a good hard check. And Shepard trying to move it out. Does so. Rattel, Sittler battle. Shepard now over to Park, and the Bruins getting organized. Jonathan with it. Up for Middleton, can't move. And Mike Pelech clears it in the Boston end. O'Reilly and Maloney still in the penalty box. O'Brien and Williams. Puck kept in by Ellis. Pass stopped by Park. Sends Rattel away with Middleton and Jonathan. Flips it for Jonathan. He has to go to the corner deep. Jonathan wheeling. Gets it to Rattel. Quick shot. Save. Palmetier. Best chance of the game. Centering pass. Bounces Sims. Right defense. A screen shot deflected wide. Sims right defense. Milbury left. Milbury keeps it in at the point. Now Ellis with it. Trying to come out. Checked by Rattel. Jam. And a face-off.
Well, no score in the hockey game, but we've seen some great action so far. A couple of fights broke out. O'Reilly and Maloney at the 19-second mark. And Williams and O'Brien went at it, but we didn't see too much of that at 1:04. And right at this moment, we have 14:05 left to play in the first period.
Jean Rattel, Rick Middleton, and Stan Jonathan with Milbury and Sims. First time we've seen Sims over in right defense. But O'Brien is in the penalty box. Here's Sims clearing in. He's played well for Boston. In deep, Jonathan after it. Can't center it. Jerry Butler back. Around for Boutet. Can't move it out. Middleton keeps it in. A pass looking for Rattel. Deflects over on the boards. Jonathan with it. Jonathan looking for Rattel. Rattel, a shot, a save. Palmatier, as Middleton was looking for a play in front. And the Bruins putting good pressure on with this line, as now O'Brien is back, but Williams still has time left. He got a total of 7 minutes. Face-off is to the right of Palmatier. Glennie and Salming go on the Toronto defense.
Well, the sign of a good offense on any team is when the forwards without the puck start moving around to get in a position to take the pass. And Boston's wingmen especially are extremely good at it over the last 10 or 15 games. They've really been moving into the openings.
Back to Rick Smith. Save! And the rebound goes to Middleton, off wing side. Middleton trying to wheel out of the corner to Rattel. Can't get power on it. And Jonathan hauled down on the play, and the puck cleared out by Toronto's Jones. Butler hustles down. O'Brien back to get it. His pass stopped by Boutet. Boutet drops it for Salming. Moving in, a shot. Ricochets high over the net. Bounced around again, but Jones has it. Jones broken up. Rattel trying to move it out. Can't. Rick Smith battling Jones, and Middleton clears it away. Now Boutet to Glennie. They come back. Puck taken by Middleton. His pass up stop. Rick Smith trying to move it back. Can't. Lanny McDonald avoids a Rick Smith check. Comes over the line. Is checked by O'Brien. The shot trickles wide, and Graham passes off to Rattel. Rattel slides it out. Down to the Toronto end, and Jonathan down on Sittler. And Sittler gets it to Salming. No score. Pass out stopped by Middleton's back checking. Middleton for Marcotte. Marcotte clearing in wide of Palmatier. 12:22 left first period. Brian Glennie around for Lanny McDonald. Stopped by Milbury. His pass blocked by Glennie. Glennie's pass goes right to Park. Up for Shepard. Shepard plays it in. Cashman moving in on Maloney, but it ricochets to Shepard. Wheels for a shot that misses. Milbury left side keeps it in. Fires it. Scores! Wayne Cashman deflected it home with his back to the net. And Mike Milbury fired across in front. And Wayne Cashman gets his 18th goal of the year.
Well, a beautiful play set up here by Greg Shepard as he banked it off the boards back of the net. Now here's Milbury, who makes a fine play, centering it out in front. Watch Cashman. He's almost in the goal crease, but Salming is on top of him, and he just managed to scoop it back as Salming argued on the play, but Cashman, beautiful tip in. Players practice that constantly during a practice, having somebody shoot it from the point, standing in front, trying to deflect it every different way, and Cashman got a beautiful goal. Milbury and Shepard assisting, and it comes at 7:59. The Leafs were not too happy. They figured Cashman might have been in the goal crease. It was extremely close.
Puck to Park, gets it up the middle to McNabb with O'Reilly and Wensing. McNabb over the line, checked in the play by Turnbull. Johansson drives it around, stopped by Milbury. Milbury keeps it in, and McNabb battling Turnbull. A face-off call to the right of Palmatier. First goal by Wayne Cashman in 3 years against Toronto. But he was in the right spot to tip it home.
We talked about the record, Fred. Most number of players over 20 or over in a season. Boston has the combination of what could be 11. Cashman had 17. He now has 18. Shepard and Milbury assisting at 7:59.
McNabb, Wensink, O'Reilly with Milbury and Park. Stan Weir on the draw. It goes to Milbury. Milbury rolls it in front. On the other side, Williams wrapping up O'Reilly. And Park keeps it in. Around the boards, McNabb can't get it. Johansson trying to come out. Oh, he's hit. And McNabb to Wensink. A shot blocked, loose, and jammed up as the Bruins. 3 men were coming in on Palmatier, and he made the stop on Wensink.
Well, John Wensink made the big play here on Johansson using the body. Now watch this develop. This is good play because that's Milbury to McNabb into Wensink. Now here's where he could have drawn it a little wider, but that big menacing stick of Palmatier. Actually, Mike Palmatier made a fine play on it to prevent a shot on goal.
Puck back to Milbury, over to Park, fires in, and Palmatier saves. Wensink keeps it in to O'Reilly. O'Reilly trying to drop it back, and Weir has it and clears. Boston leads 1-0. And McNabb fires in. Wensink trying to get it, gets it over to O'Reilly. O'Reilly back for Park. Park fires. It rolls in front, loose. Shot to score by John Wensink. John Wensink on a turnaround shot in front after Brad Park's drive from the point was stopped, and Wensink makes it 2-0.
Well, Boston has been able to apply all kinds of pressure on the Leafs since almost the opening gun. And here's Wensink perfectly positioned in front. He picked up a loose puck. And Wensink, who loves to stand in front and use the body and take men out of the play, found himself all by himself. And the little black thing was right there, and he swept it underneath Palmateer. And it's 2-0 in favor of the Bruins, as they have really been able to pin the Leafs in their own end. For Wensink is 15th of the year.
And Roger Nielsen, the Toronto coach, sends out his big wave. Sittler, Maloney, and McDonald. Don Cherry counters with Shepard, Marcotte, and Cashman. And basically, I think we'll try and play that line against this big one. As Wensink makes it 2-0. Rick Smith to Marcotte, to Shepard. And Cashman is offside on the play. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Boston Bruins Television Network.
This is TV 38, WSBK TV, Boston.
Wensink from Park and McNabb at 9:08. And Ferguson is out now with Butler and Boutet. Nielsen is going to try and put the Sittler line on against somebody else, but Boston has the 2-goal lead. Marcotte knocks down a pass out. Saming with it. Now it goes to Boutet. He's hit along with McCauley, the referee, and Cashman to Shepard. The shot blocked in front as Shepard had to get a quick one away. Marcotte battling Ferguson. And Shepard flips it back in the Toronto end. Glennie now off for Boutet. And Shepard got it center ice and cleared it away. A break in the action. The score, Boston 2 and Toronto 0.
This is the color red. Everybody loves red, except business people. They'd rather be in the black. The right color scheme for getting a business from red to black is to add a little yellow. A Yellow Pages ad. 4 out of 5 potential customers look for you in the Yellow Pages. How can they call if they don't see you at all? Run your business in the yellow.
A little bit of line juggling here. I think Roger Nielsen, the coach of the Leafs, would like to play Sittler's line against Rattel's line, but Cherry's not going to allow him to do that because he has the last say on the home ice, and Shepard's out there with against Sittler.
Shepard, Cashman, and Marcotte stay out there. Now the Leafs change. And this one went off Cashman to the Leaf bench. So Nielsen's going to spend a lot of time doing this. Down 2-0. I don't know. It's to me, it's a waste of time trying to jockey now.
Well, one of the problems with the Leafs really is all their scoring, or most of their scoring, is in one line. Sittler, Maloney, and McDonald. A very fine two-way line, probably one of the better lines in the league, if not the best. But they really combine beautifully. But behind that, they do not have the offensive power to sustain the attack.
Puck fed to the Boston zone, and this one is called for an offside. But if he's going to be putting the line out there and taking them off, I'm thinking of Nielsen. He's wasting a lot of momentum.
Well, the strategy, Fred, would be to play your top line against anybody and hope they're going to survive, right? The more you jockey, the more you lose the momentum of your big line. And here's Rattel going out with Sittler in there, and now we're going to have a little jockeying going on, but I'm sure the referee's going to step into the middle of this in a moment.
Well, Cherry has the last move, and so he keeps Shepard out against Sittler now for the moment. And Nielsen undoubtedly will change them on the fly. That's what he does. Sittler moves off. And to me, that wastes an awful lot of momentum. I mean, distraction from getting things going. Dennis O'Brien rushes center ice to Rattel. Rattel trying to move in, and Jonathan is offside on the play. 9:31 left, and very frequent whistles, and it's okay with Boston. They're ahead 2-0.
Well, without overdoing the matchups, Fred, which sometimes can be overdone, Marcotte is great on McDonald because McDonald likes to come in as a trailer. Marcotte never leaves him alone. He stays right with him. He doesn't go ahead of him too far, which is what McDonald likes. And then you've got the problem of Shepard on Sittler, and Shepard is great on those big men. He gets underneath them where they can't maneuver as well as they would like. Perreault, he drives them nuts for Buffalo.
Well, now Toronto makes the change, and Don Cherry's going to play his game. He stays with the Rattel line out there and to keep some kind of a flow in the game. O'Brien's pass up blocked, and with it, Dan Maloney. The Leafs gave up a franchise practically to get Dan Maloney. Puck goes to Middleton. Middleton away looking for Jonathan. Jonathan pokes it in. Is checked by Salming. The puck into the corner. Glennie drives it around. Middleton trying to get it. Can't. O'Brien does. His pass blocked. Now fed in the corner. Middleton flips it. Kept in. Rick Smith. Rick Smith up the boards. A lost stick by somebody. And it was Sittler. Now the puck to O'Brien. And O'Brien hits Sittler and flattened him. O'Brien flipped an offside pass, and here's Jonathan pouncing on Sittler. And away we go with a wild brawl in front of the Toronto bench. It appeared to me that O'Brien had whacked Sittler, and Stan Jonathan came right over and pounded Darryl Sittler. And Sittler trying to go at him, and the linesmen have stepped in between. A lot of bad blood in this one. And John McCauley is yelling at Nielsen. But I tell you, we'll look at the replay. It seemed to me O'Brien caught Sittler on a hard check. And while he was down, Jonathan came over and pounded him. And Jonathan is cut on the forehead. And McCauley is saying something. We'll see what comes out of this. And we're in the first period. The score, Boston 2 and Toronto nothing.
Announcing the great Dodge option sale. Here's the 1978 Dodge Aspen, the greatest sales success story in Dodge history. Now with 16 popular options, sticker priced at $250 less than the cost of these options if purchased separately. Electronic options, styling options. To come to your Dodge dealer at sticker prices that let him help you save during the great Dodge option sale.
Today's Dodge dealers got it all.
O'Brien and Sittler will collide right here. Here comes Sittler across. Now watch the forearm. And he gives the brush to O'Brien. Now he's off balance. Here comes Jonathan as he gets up. Here's Jonathan moving through. And watch the push with the two gloves together. If we see it at the right-hand corner of your screen. Well, you missed it. We didn't get it. But Jonathan took both gloves, and he pushed them right into Sittler's face and knocked him backwards. We'll say this. Sittler was a little bit off balance. He was just starting to get up as Jonathan hit him. How Jonathan got cut in the affair, I don't know, but Sittler was underneath punching away, and whether he landed one above the left eye of Jonathan, I don't know, but we've got penalties coming up here, and we've had a ton of them so far in terms of total minutes, with 2 fights so far, O'Reilly and Maloney, Williams and O'Brien, and now Sittler and Jonathan, and there may be a third man in penalty here. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but Jonathan is in the penalty box. We'll wait for the announcement.
Glennie is arguing because after the O'Brien-Sittler collision, obviously, Jonathan had instigated it by coming over and charging Sittler. Let's see if he gets added penalties. But again, as they started to tangle, Glennie could be thrown out. Glennie is arguing, and McCauley talking with his linesman, trying to resolve it. Not easy, but I would guess Jonathan would get the extra penalty.
Well, Jonathan could conceivably get a third man in penalty. I don't know how they're going to call it. You don't have to have a fight going on to have a third man into an affair. It can be high sticking. It can be roughing against the two combatants. But we're going to wait and see what the announcement is. Jonathan could be through for the night.
Well, right now he's sitting in the penalty box, and McCauley is trying to straighten out the assessments. Boston in front 2-0, and it has been a wild scene. We've got a 5-minute penalty against Jonathan and 2 against Sittler. So the Bruins are going to be short-handed 3 minutes. Brian Glennie gets a game misconduct as the third man in.
Well, he separated the good check by Sittler and O'Brien, I guess, and figured that it was Jonathan and Sittler going at it. Glennie moved through the circle and picked up the back of Jonathan, and he is assessed a game misconduct as the third man in. So the referee has finally put it to bed, and I would say, Fred, that he called it pretty well. I never gave it much thought that O'Brien and Sittler, nothing, right? They were just
a check.
Good body checking. But the Jonathan Sittler was what started it, and then Glennie, naturally, being the third man in, draws a game misconduct. The penalties come at 11 minutes and 17 seconds of the first period.
Glennie out of the game, you see him go. But Boston, after 2 minutes, is going to be short a man for 3 minutes. A power play for Toronto. But let me say, I don't bet that anybody has challenged Darryl Sittler like that right in front of the Toronto bench, as apparently Jonathan thought maybe Sittler gave O'Brien the worst of it, but that didn't happen. O'Brien, in that collision, seemed to throw a left, could have been a punch, and down went Sittler.
Well, it was obvious at the start with O'Reilly and Maloney and Williams and O'Brien that the players were not going to stand around and wait to be invited. They were just going to move in and do something about it.
We're looking at Jonathan, who gets a 5-minute major, and there have been 41 minutes of penalties in this game already, and we still have 8 minutes and 43 seconds left to play in the first period. It all started 19 seconds into the game, O'Reilly and Maloney, and it has continued. But meanwhile, the Bruins have interspersed 2 goals by Wayne Cashman and John Wensink. And right now, both teams are shorthanded. McNabb and Miller with Milbury and O'Brien for Boston. Weir is out there for Toronto. Turnbull being checked by Miller. Now McNabb. And Miller steps in, but Ellis gets it off to Weir. Weir broken up at the line. A pass over on the boards to Pellick, who has to play defense now. Play broken up. Now O'Brien can't control it, and Ellis keeps it in. Back for Weir. Now to Turnbull. His shot misfired, trickles in, and O'Brien takes it around for Miller. Miller runs into Pellick, and here's a lead pass. Milbury to McNabb, moving in, the shot, the save, Palmatier, and the puck to Milbury, trying to drop it back to the point, couldn't do it, as the Bruins had a good chance there. O'Brien up for McNabb. McNabb's pass is stopped by Ron Ellis. In 1 minute and 9 seconds, the Leafs will have a man advantage and will have a 3-minute power play. That's a major. Here's a break now, 2-on-1. Weir with O'Brien back alone, Turnbull there, and the pass in front, blocked, score! Weir rolls it in the corner as Stan Weir gets the score for Toronto, and that makes it 2-1.
Well, not a good goal to have scored against the Bruins while they face the 3-minute man disadvantage situation. Here's Weir with a good individual effort, using number 2 Turnbull as a partial screen on O'Brien, and he cut right in front, and that puck eluded Graham, and the Leafs, on a very fine individual effort by Stan Weir, get on the scoreboard. He's number 14, and he scored the goal, and it comes at 12 minutes and 21 seconds of the first period.
Well, that was a 2-on-1 situation, something the Bruins certainly should not have allowed under the circumstances. O'Brien clears it around now, and Milbury, trying to poke it out, is knocked down on the play. The puck kept in by Boutet. He's checked by Rattel. Rattel in turn checked. Ferguson has it. Ferguson off in the corner. Back for Pellick. A shot wide, and not too wide. Turnbull keeps it in. Over on the right side to Ferguson. Ferguson with the puck. Flipped in front, knocked away by Rattel. Rattel trying to move it out. Milbury jammed up, and the Bruins take the whistle and a face-off to the left of Ron Graham. In 19 seconds, the Leafs will have the power play. Sittler will come out of the penalty box, and Jonathan will have 3 more minutes left on his major. Weir's 9th of the year from Ellis and Pellick at 12:21, as the Bruins were caught in a 2-on-1 situation. O'Brien, the only defenseman back. Marcotte and Shepard are discussing a situation with John McCauley. Both teams are short. Both teams have men in the penalty box. But Sittler will be out in 19 seconds. Now McDonald keeps it in. Basami. Shot blocked by Park. To Marcotte. Shepard broke a stick. Marcotte fires a long one in on Palmatier. And Turnbull starts it back. Can carry well. Checked by Park. The drop pass. Checked by Marcotte on Williams. And it's jammed on the boards and a face-off call. And now Toronto has the man advantage. Shepard and Marcotte with Park and Rick Smith. The power play Toronto has Sittler, McDonald, and Williams. And you have to realize in the 2 minutes, 55 seconds left, Jonathan cannot come back if a goal is scored. That is a major penalty he is serving in that jam. A 5-minute major for fighting. Sittler got 2 for roughing, and Glennie a game misconduct. Rick Smith clears, and it bounces for Shepard with Marcotte 2-on-1 maybe. He goes for the shot, and it's blocked. Shepard's shot blocked by Sami. And out comes Sittler. Up the middle. Pulled down by Brad Park, and a beautiful check brought him down. And Rick Smith off for Marcotte. And Marcotte clears in. Oh, what a stylish check that was by Park on Sittler. An excellent puck carrier. Williams' pass blocked. Goes to Shepard, and the Bruins are ruled offside. Beautiful hip check by Brad Park.
Boy, and a tough man to stop. This Darryl Sittler can really shift, and he's got it going here, but Brad Park just got him with the side of his leg and maybe a little bit of that hip, and he managed to bring Sittler down as he looked like he might have been able to sift through that Boston defense.
Boston leads 2-1. 6:02 left in the first period. 41 minutes of penalties, a lot of fights, and a game misconduct. Pass to Sittler, right wing side. Ran into Willard Norris, cleared the puck too far ahead. Now Williams trying to keep it in. Back for Sami. Up for Sittler. He missed it on the other side. Williams. Now to Sittler. Quick pass blocked. And Park to Shepard. Shepard by Turnbull. Looks for Marcotte, and they're offside at the line. On a delayed call. 1:48 left on the major penalty to Stan Jonathan with 5:31 left in the period.
And the goal scorers, 2 for the Bruins. Cashman is 18th of the year, and John Wensick is 15th. Made it 2-0 Boston before Stan Weir scored his 9th of the year. And that's the way it stands right at this moment. 2-1 Boston.
And Toronto sends out Weir, Ellis, and Maloney as a line, and Boston with Miller and Marcotte. Park and Milbury stay out there. Miller got the draw to Park. Park taking his time and clears. Miller down a forecheck. Turnbull. Now to Weir. Weir back for Turnbull. Turnbull over the line. Can really move. Goes in deep, drops it. It goes all the way to the Toronto end. Back for it, Samin. 1:18 left on the Jonathan penalty. Samin to Maloney. Now to Ron Ellis. Ellis over the line. Broken up by Miller. But it's kept in by Samin. Shot blocked. And kept in by Maloney. Maloney to Turnbull. Missed on the short side bid. A good quick shot. Samin keeps it in. He's hit. Rolls near Graham. He ties it up. With this break in the action, let's pause for this message.
You can take away my hook shot and the pass behind my back. You can take away all my deceptive moves and my slam dunk attack. Right. You can take away my rebound, my fast and fancy play. But please don't take my gusto away.
If you don't have sex, you don't have gusto. No, you don't have me.
Say, man, you double dribble my gusto.
Face off to the left of Graham. 52 seconds left on the penalty. Shepard out there on the draw. It goes to Toronto. Samin. Samin's pass blocked by Park and cleared. Park and Rick Smith. Miller and Shepard, the penalty killers. 40 seconds left on the Toronto power play. Boston leads 2-1. McDonald off for Sittler. Sittler broken up by Park. Penalty, Sittler. Sittler for tripping. Delayed call. He tripped Park after Park broke him up. And Williams protesting. Out goes Sittler for hooking Brad Park.
Well, you never get around Brad Park when he's coming at you from an angle by faking this kind of a draw, because you watch what he does. He's got such great control of his skates, and there's the hooking call right there as Sittler knocks down Brad Park. But Park, when he turns and comes at you sideways, he's got those skates parallel. Very difficult to pull the puck between his skates because he's moving and there's not much room. And he can control that thing very, very well, and he just took it away from Sittler.
Sittler slowed up John, too, trying to make some kind of a move there, too, and that takes a lot away from Sittler.
Well, you see, when you go to shoot, naturally a player slows down because he wants to get the momentum behind the shot. Sittler faked the shot. Then he tried to slide by him at the last minute, but Park was right there.
Rattel, O'Reilly, Rick Smith, and Park. 22 seconds. Jonathan will be back, and then Boston will have a power play. Boston leads 2-1. Goals by Cashman and Wensink. Weir for Toronto. A pass looking for Pellick. O'Reilly has it. Now Rick Smith. Jonathan will be out shortly. Up to Park. Park over the line. Loses to Jones. Jonathan out. Power play Boston. Around the boards, O'Reilly trying to keep it in. Does. O'Reilly avoids a check of Pellick. Drops it for Park. Right point. Power play for the Bruins. Now to Rick Smith. Quick shot in. Deflected. High. O'Reilly gets the rebound. Knocked down. Got it to Park. Park knocked down. Rattel has it. Rattel moving. The shot blocked in the corner. It is Salming. Checked by O'Reilly. Goes up to Jones. He's checked. O'Reilly got it back to Park again. Park holding. In for Rattel. Rattel over to Rick Smith. Back for Park. It's outside the line. 50 seconds left. Park to O'Reilly. Trying to get away from Jones. Does. O'Reilly to Rattel over the line. Back for O'Reilly. Back for Park. He missed it. And Butler and Rick Smith race and battle for it. And O'Reilly starts it back. Still a power play. O'Reilly up the middle. Checked. Puck to Rattel. A shot blocked by the Leafs in front. And cleared away. 18 seconds left on Sittler's penalty. 2:24 left in the first period. 2-1 the Bruins lead. Rick Smith starts it out. Clearing in wide of Palmatier. Palmatier himself clears it around the dasher, and Johansson starts it away. Looking for Ferguson. He's got it. He's over the line. He's broken up by O'Brien. Back comes Rattel. Full strength Toronto. Rattel in for Cashman. It goes into the corner. Johansson there. Checked by Cashman. And the clear goes into the stands. The faceoff will be to the right of Mike Palmatier. Coming up between the first and second periods, John Pearson will be talking with Darryl Sittler. Mini one-on-one action continues with a semifinal round match in squirt competition as Winthrop meets Kennebec, Maine. McNabb, Middleton, Wensink the line. Face off to the right of Palmatier. Poked in front. Batted away by Toronto. Middleton checks Williams. Wensink over there. A jam. And a face-off call by McCauley outside the line. 1:42 left in the period. Wayne Cashman is 18th. John Wensink right there scored his 15th. And then Weir for Toronto. And the Bruins lead it 2-1. Weir is centering Williams and Ellis. Johansson. Long drive in. Rebound Middleton. Can't move it out. Weir kept it in. His pass stopped. And out comes McNabb with Milbury. Cleared in wide of Palmatier, who touched it. Try to move it around. Goes to McNabb. McNabb behind the net. And Wensink fans on the shot. And a breakout for the Leafs. Williams. O'Brien getting back in position. The shot, the save. Graham. The rebound by Williams, and it's high. Back comes Middleton. Long pass on the left, too far ahead of Wensink. And Johansson gets it. His flip pass stopped by Middleton. Middleton starting away. lead pass into the Toronto zone. 1 minute left in the first period. Boston leads 2-1. Johansson holding behind the net. Long pass connects with McDonald. Now Turnbull. Broken up. Rick Smith got it over on the other side to Marcotte with Middelin. And Marcotte lost it, gets it again, flips it in wide of Palmatier. Johansson can't flip it out, kept in by Cashman. Cashman into the corner, in front. It is blocked by Palmatier, the shot on net. And back comes McDonald. Off for Dan Maloney with Sittler. Pass to Sittler, broken up by Park. 17 seconds left, Cashman back coming up on Pelech. Drives, and it's deflected by Pelech high in the corner. Marcotte trying to keep it in. Wheels it around the boards. Maloney there. Shepard checks. Back for Park. They can't keep it inside the line. McDonald rushes with 2 seconds left. His shot is wide, and the period ends. Score at the finest with the Bruins in the first period tonight. The Bruins scored 2 goals. And Robert Mistretta of Winchester, Massachusetts, and Francis X. Coleman of Alston, Massachusetts, are winners of 2 tickets to a future Bruins game, plus a $25 food certificate from the finest. Enter now at your finest supermarket and score with the Bruins. At the end of 1, 2-1 the Bruins. Tom Larson will be right back with first period intermission after these messages.
Is Gillette Foamy thick and rich enough to stop this super sports car? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to support this lovely lady? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to hold up this husky hiker?
No. But if you want a clean, close shave, it's more than thick and rich enough.
It's that time of the year when McDonald's is serving Shamrock Shakes. Take one sip and a little luck of the Irish could come your way.
Come try our Shamrock Shakes now. There's something fun. Good luck may come your way now. They're frosty, triple thick and green. Give one a try. A little Irish luck is easy to come by at McDonald's. Shamrock Shakes, we do it all for you.
Here's to good luck.
Thousands are winning in the daily numbers game.
Everybody has a lucky day or a lucky week now and then. Everybody has a lucky number. You have a grandchild that's birthday or your wife's birthday. Those are lucky numbers. Play them. They cost you so very little, but the thrill that you get out of it is terrific.
Do you think it's easy to play the numbers game?
Oh, sure, yes. Takes you 1 to 2 minutes, and it tells you exactly what to do on the slip of paper.
Have you played your number today?
We like your style wherever you work, whatever you do, whatever it is that makes you, you.
At the First National Bank of Boston, we like your style. That's why we offer a whole range of banking services to match it. Visit the First and see for yourself. See how our style of banking fits your style of life.
Here at the First, we like your style.
Well, after 1 period of hockey at Boston Garden, it's Boston 2 and Toronto 1. First period shots on goal, Boston 9 and Toronto 4. Back to John Pearson now and his between periods guest, Roger Nielsen.
Well, Roger, you're nice to pinch hit for Darryl Sittler, but I can understand Darryl wanting to get a little extra rest after a very physical first period.
That's right. It was one of those games that you never know what's going to happen, but all of a sudden it breaks out. And I know, I think we've got a team now that can play tough with anybody, and everyone knows Boston can. So maybe we're going to get more games like this.
Roger, do you feel that roughness is a necessary prerequisite to winning in the National Hockey League?
Oh, I think so. And even a team like Montreal Canadiens knows that they've got to have some physical players like Chartrand, Lupien, and Bouchard, and you definitely need that. You also need some good hockey players as well, but yeah, I think it's a necessary ingredient.
And of course that is accentuated, the roughness, by the closer checking, right? A lot of coaches are talking more defensive than offensive play.
Well, I think that you have to check to be a good team, to be a Stanley Cup contender, and I think our team has had the scoring. We just got to play a little tighter and perhaps a little tougher. And Boston do a good job that way. They all work hard and they all check and they finish their checks. And you know, I think probably we've got a little better scoring than they do on our team, but we've got to tighten up our checking a little.
Is that one of the reasons why the Leafs tried to acquire Dan Maloney from the Red Wings? Tough, hard-nosed type of player?
No question about it. And we felt we were a little weak physically on the wings, but now on the left side, particularly with Maloney and Tiger Williams and Patty Boutette, we're in a lot better shape that way.
Roger, a lot of coaches now are emphasizing defense, as I mentioned before, and back-checking. Do you think that's hampering the freewheeling, high-scoring type of hockey player, or don't you think it makes any difference?
Oh, no, if a team is doing their job checking, naturally the game becomes tighter and the freewheelers can't go as well. Take tonight now, a player like Sittler and McDonald, who are our probably two best scorers, they have a rough time putting out nice passing plays, and you know it's a grind them out game, and fortunately they can play that type as well, but it's different than a game where the guys are just freewheeling up and down.
Of course, that's one of the things that Boston or the opposition would look for against Sittler and McDonald, wouldn't it? Try to get them close because they are tremendous scorers.
Oh, there's no question about that. And this is another reason why Dan Maloney is valuable, because the other teams put their checkers out against the Sittler line. They try to get them riled up. They try to get them into fights and so on. Well, you need a big, tough guy to look after them. And it's pretty rough on the good players in the league, the guys like Guy Lafleur, who know they're going to have a checker tailing them all night and aggravating them, and they have to have a lot of patience, too.
Roger, you're nice to fill in. I appreciate you taking the time. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Johnny.
Roger Nielsen, coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and now to Tom Larson.
Between period guests receive a Fioravanti suit by Brookfield, another touch of class from Eastern Coat in Watertown. Tomorrow night's NHL 78 telecast should be of considerable interest. The New York Islanders and the Philadelphia Flyers, two contenders for their divisional title, will meet head-on at the Spectrum tomorrow evening. We'll have that telecast here on TV 38 starting at 8 o'clock. On Tuesday night, Boston at Cleveland at 8. Thursday, the Blackhawks at Boston Garden at 7:30. And next Sunday evening, it'll be Montreal at Boston. We'll get another semifinal match in this year's mini one-on-one here in a moment. Squirt competition as Winthrop meets Kennebec, Maine.
It's been terrific.
I wish we could start all over. This winter, let Eastern Airlines give you the sunshine of Florida, the place to be, with more flights to more cities and more vacation plans than anyone.
You were in your bathing suit in 2 seconds flat. Your game was really brilliant.
Mickey had a real crush on you. Let Eastern sunshine in Walt Disney World, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and 13 other Florida cities brighten your life.
I really love the husband I discovered down here.
Eastern, we've got your sunshine.
What would you call a car that gives you outstanding stability and handling in snow, wind, and rain? What would you call a car with rack and pinion steering, AM radio, white wall radial tires, front disc brakes, and front wheel drive standard? Motor Trend magazine calls it the car of the year. Plymouth calls it Horizon. New Plymouth Horizon. To go anywhere in comfort and confidence.
Relax, Horizon can handle it.
You can take away my drummer, take away the bass. You can take away my guitar picker and close down the place. You can take away my keyboard, I can swing it night all day. Just please don't take my gusto away.
If you don't have Schlitz, you don't have gusto.
And brother, you don't have beer.
Firestone, Superstones.
Night when I was making the Ride magazine, half Firestone was given away free. 3 Fords, that is something to see. The #1 van machine.
Ooh, supreme!
A 4x4 that's really more. A mini pickup.
It makes my heart go giddy up.
30 little machines, what a scene.
All you gotta do to enter is run to Firestone's Tire Centers.
Firestone, Superstone, sweepstakes.
From Winthrop, the goaltender is Norman Blanchard, and the shooter is Spike Tiano. They go up against goaltender Mickey Boardman and shooter Anthony Fonts from Kennebec, Maine. Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University as TV 38 Sports presents Mini One-on-One. Folks are kind of charged up here around Gregorio because we're in the semifinals of squirt competition. Winthrop and Kennebec Valley, Maine. Winthrop has been here. This is their 4th year, but they've never won this thing. And Kennebec Valley, Maine is here for the first time with a chance to win it.
Yes, and little Anthony Fonts from Kennebec Valley, Maine has been very impressive as the shooters, as has Spike Tiano from Winthrop. 2 excellent shooters.
And we pick up Spike Tiano first as he cruises in on Mickey Boardman, the Kennebec Valley, Maine goaltender. And Tiano gives Winthrop a 1-0 lead. All right, check little Anthony Fonts. It's F-O-N-T-E-S. He is a little guy, but can he skate and can he shoot? Norman Blanchard is the goaltender. A goal. May have jammed it against the post, but the save was made.
Norman Blanchard made a nice play on that, just holding his ground and waiting for little Fonts to come in.
Winthrop leads 2-0. Tiano scores to make it 3-0 after 3 shots. Winthrop is out to a quick 3-0 lead.
The profile. In TV Guide, it emerges as a full-length portrait that doesn't pry into a person's life, but into his mind. Understanding the people who make television work can help you understand television better. And nothing brings television into focus like TV Guide.
Now at Kennedy's, the first sale of spring. 20 to 30% off on new spring fashions. The lowest prices of the season. Gather the savings while you may at all Kennedy stores.
Here comes Anthony Fonts, and why he's a good goal scorer is that he watches, he holds, he waits for the goalie to commit himself. But what Blanchard didn't do was commit himself. He held his position, and then he made the save. It was because he held his position long enough to force the forward to make the first move.
Well, this kid is fun to watch. Anthony Fonts, who's the shooter from Kennebec Valley, Maine. He has to score here, or Winthrop will win the match. Makes the fake onside, but Blanchard made an awfully fine reaction to poke that one away. 4-0 Winthrop. So Winthrop has moved into the finals against Edgewood, Rhode Island. Will take these final 2 shots just to complete the series. Spike Tiano, Winthrop shooter, makes it 5-0. So Winthrop is making this one pretty easy. 1 more shot for Anthony Fonts.
I'll tell you this, Kennebec Valley has done very well for their first appearance.
Here's Fonts. Flips a soft shot that almost got by, but he made the save with a glove, and it's a shutout in this semifinal match as Winthrop advances to the final round over to meet Edgewood, Rhode Island in squirt competition. The final score, Winthrop 6 and Kennebec Valley, Maine 0.
If they grow up, they forget about the parents.
Why not call him?
What, 40 miles?
Well, after 7, dial yourself. No operator involved. It's only $1.05 for toll calls up to 40 miles away.
Yeah?
For 5 minutes.
You love somebody, so keep in touch. 5-minute call doesn't cost much. Just wait till 7 and man alive, you can call 40 miles for $1.05.
Well, we made contact.
Terrific.
Hi, I'm Bob Miller of the Boston Bruins. When it comes to hockey, I'm a professional. And when it comes to feeding your family the highest quality foods at some of the best prices in town, you can't beat the finest. Their beef is always tender and juicy, and their fruits and vegetables are the freshest in town. How do I know all this about Finest? Easy. My mom's been a Finest shopper as long as I can remember, and she knows the pros. So come to the Finest and score with the pros.
Listen to what people are saying about their home video recorders.
Mine records only 2 hours per cassette.
There's a better one. It offers up to 4 hours. Magnavox.
I paid extra for a separate timer.
Magnavox comes with a timer built in.
Can't edit by remote control.
With the better one, you can.
Costly cassettes.
More tape for your money with the Magnavox home video cassette recorder. The better one, new from Magnavox.
Monday and Tuesday at Leachmere's Super Sale, you'll save in every department. For example, a deluxe RCA XL 100 color TV, only $314.88. A Gibson 18-pound capacity 3-cycle washer, just $239.88. And a Precor AM/FM stereo with 8-track player and full-size BSR record changer, only $69.88. Don't miss Leachmere's 2-day Super Sale.
There's a very good chance you already have this information, but there are 4 Red Sox spring training games that we will be televising here on TV 38, starting with next Saturday afternoon's game against the Chicago White Sox. And then on Thursday, March 30th, the Red Sox play the Mets. Sunday, April 2nd, the Atlanta Braves. Tuesday, April 4th, the Pittsburgh Pirates. The club's back on the ice at the end of one period and about set to go for the second. The Bruins lead the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 2-1 on goals by Wayne Cashman and John Wensink. In that first period, the Toronto score was by Stan Weir. Shots on goal in the first period, Boston 9, Toronto 4. Second period action now with Fred Cusick and John Pearson.
Which produced a very entertaining first period between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. But Fred, Boston did spend quite a bit of time in the Leafs zone during the course of the period.
Good period for Boston. They'd like to continue it. It was interrupted by the fights, but I think they can put some pressure on the Toronto defense as we look at some signs and checking the injuries.
Well, we've got the same story that we had yesterday afternoon from New York. Cheevers with the knee indefinite, not skating. Foster is skating, but he's got that knee problem, and that's also indefinite. Gary Doak may try skating tomorrow, not improving quite as quickly as they thought at the first, but the cuts and the facial fractures look great. I talked to him in the dressing room before the game. We'll go over Schmatz and Gilbert in a moment, but play is underway.
Shepard on against Sittler, and Walker is playing right wing. Kurt Walker from Hingham. Fed in by Sittler, could be icing. Oh, Milbury caught Walker, and down he went. And a penalty on Milbury. Milbury gets a board check here, or interference it is, on Kurt Walker, and Toronto gets a power play.
Well, this is a penalty that I like to see called more often, but it never is. Now, Walker's going for the puck, and so is Milbury, and he takes him out of the play. Now, Walker has not touched the puck, and it's legally interference. However, in a race for the puck like that, generally speaking, night after night after night, nothing is done about it. I don't see why it should be called now against Boston, but legally, in terms of the rules, that's a good call by the referee, actually, but that doesn't mean anything totally. With 14 seconds gone in the second period, Milbury's in the penalty box for interference.
Wayne Cashman, the captain of the Bruins, arguing the point with John McCauley. The point that Johnny Pearson made, that both were going for the puck. Sittler, Maloney, and McDonald, the power play with Turnbull and Salming. Boston, Shepard and Marcotte, Rick Smith and Park. Rick Smith clears it. Salming back. Now to Darryl Sittler, the Leafs captain. Broken up by Marcotte for Shepard. Shepard just wheels it back in the Toronto zone. Turnbull ready to start it. Off to Sittler again. Now Turnbull. Turnbull in the center ice. Fires in. Blocked by Graham. Trying to clear it himself. Kept in by Salming. Now to Sittler. Sittler in front, score! Lanny McDonald just like that. As McDonald got in position, Sittler set him up in front. And a power play goal by McDonald ties the game at 2.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs worked the Bruins in a position where they came out of that box. Now watch McDonald move into the place where a defenseman should be. Right here, that's Rick Smith in the corner. Now McDonald should have been covered by that box formation. The Bruins were out of it. And, of course, that gave the opening. That's what a power play is all about. You try to work the puck around as much as you can, trying to draw the opposition out of that square box formation so you get that man in close. And McDonald ties it at 2-2 from Sittler.
Milbury clears in. Jonathan going in against Salming. And he rattles Salming. Oh, what a hit he gave him. Out comes Sittler with McDonald. Sittler over the line. Lost it to Rattel. Rattel to Middleton. Everybody hitting here. Wild one. Middleton over the line, broken up by Pellick. Park keeps it in. Park in for Middleton. Pass in front, bounces. Milbury moving to Rattel. A backhand block. Middleton had it, couldn't put it home. Jonathan, a shot and a save. Palmetier. As down goes McDonald, and Stan Jonathan hit him. And Jonathan, who got a 5-minute major for racking up Sittler, has hit Salming and Lanny McDonald. And I tell you, Stan Jonathan, very definitely a factor. There he is. He's fired up. And he should have scored.
Well, he and Middleton had a great chance. However, the puck was bouncing around, and it finally bounced to Palmetier, but the Leafs tie it up at 2-2. McDonald is 42nd of the year from Salming and Sittler.
Toronto sending out Johansson and Turnbull on defense. Rattel is centering Jonathan and Middleton. Williams is taking the faceoff. Rattel gets it to Jonathan. To Milbury, let it go. The shot blocked. Deflects. Maloney has it over the line. Maloney holding. Pass in front, blocked by Milbury. Can't clear it out. Kept in by Turnbull. The drive, the save. Graham on a stinging shot. Jonathan gets it outside the line. And Turnbull with it. And here's Walker and Jonathan. And down goes Jonathan. Kurt Walker. Jonathan giving away a lot on the big boy. And Jonathan has fought a lot of big ones. Kurt Walker taking him on here. They're kind of wrapped up. Jonathan trying to get free to get a punch in. Walker throwing them. And they're going at it. Jonathan trying to throw. Walker throws some good lefts. And Jonathan gets him down with that body lift. And the linesman atop the two. And it's been quite a night for Stan Jonathan. I tell you, gave away a lot there battling Walker, but did okay. And we have a break in the action. The score, Boston 2 and Toronto 2.
Discover that great Cutlass feeling along the highways of your mind. When you drive a Cutlass Supreme, you'll feel the pleasure of a lean new look, the comfort of a roomy interior, the economy of Supreme's EPA gas mileage, 27 highway, 19 city. Test drive Cutlass Supreme at your Olds dealers. Within moments, you'll discover that great Cutlass feeling. There's a lot of news in Olds today.
Well, we saw a flurry of these in the first period, and now it's getting to the point where it's detracting from the good hockey that these two teams are capable of playing, and it's a battle royal as Jonathan and Walker go at it. We've had 1, 2, 3. That's the fourth pair-offs that we've had so far in this game, and we're just about a minute 57 seconds into the second period. I would hope at this moment, Fred, things could settle down a little bit and play the kind of hockey that we witnessed yesterday afternoon. Wide open, hard hitting, and nobody took anything away from anybody, but it was a great hockey game. This one now is slowed down to a battle of dropping the gloves, and away we go.
2-2 the score, 18:03 left in the second period. Weir centers Ellis and Williams. Boston has McNabb, O'Reilly, and Wensink. O'Brien and Rick Smith. Johansson and Turnbull on the Toronto defense. McNabb rushes. Feeding in, Wensink trying to go in. Palmetier rolls it around. Williams there. Williams hit by Wensink. McNabb trying to poke it free, and Ellis tries to start out. He's hit by O'Reilly, and down they both go. Wensink rattles one in, and I tell you, this is some kind of game. O'Brien moving to keep it in, can't. And out comes Weir with Turnbull and Ellis. A pass to Ellis, the shot, the save, Graham, a beauty on Ron Ellis. And O'Brien trying to come out, is checked. Weir keeps it in. A pass and a save on Williams by Graham, a beauty. Wensink in the corner, trying to move it out. They get it out. Wensink losing now to Turnbull. And Ellis clears it away. Back for it, O'Brien. Icing on the play. A bruising game, and trying to recall all the checks. O'Reilly on Ellis was hard enough. You could feel that one.
Well, here's Graham being tested twice severely. This one by Ellis. He had it on target, but just the backhand glove at the last minute. Boston starting to try to hit everybody in sight, running around a little bit, giving the Leafs an opportunity to possibly capitalize with some good passing. And there's another drive as Weir set up Williams in front, and he tried to tip it by Graham.
Jonathan is the fourth Bruin to go over 100 penalty minutes this season. He's sitting out a major now with Kurt Walker, Rattel, Middleton, Miller the line. Miller for Park. Screen shot deflected wide. Miller in on Salming. Checks him. And Butler and Salming able to pin the puck and get a face-off. Boston had a 2-0 lead on goals by Cashman and Wensink, but Weir got one in the first period. And Lanny McDonald is 42nd of the year from Salming and Sittler after 59 seconds of play. A power play goal for Toronto. And it was their 61st, correction, 53rd of the year. Shepard on against Sittler. The draw goes to Salming. Salming up the middle to Maloney. Maloney broken up by Park. For Cashman. Right back on the threat here with Marcotte. For Shepard. Shot blocked by Salming. Shepard on it. Back for Milbury. Fed in deep. Cashman can't get it. And the Leafs have it. Mike Pelech carries out with Sittler. Clearing in. Graham hurries it along. Marcotte trying to move it out. Can't. And in the boards, Milbury battling Sittler. And Shepard checking Maloney. And a face-off call by McCauley. With this break in the action, let's pause for this message.
Number 1 under the moon. That's Delta to Florida. Only Delta flies thrifty night coach nonstops to all 3 big Florida resorts. You fly to Miami for only $100, to Fort Lauderdale for $100 too, to Tampa St. Pete for just $96. And you get free champagne with your late snack, even at beer budget fares. Call Delta or your travel agent for a moonlight flight to Florida. Delta is ready when you are.
Face off to the left of Graham. Ferguson. Draw goes to Middleton. Middleton breaks it out. Checked. Boutet moves it back. O'Brien now. Away to Rattel. Rattel the clear in. Miller is on with Middleton on the wings. Johansson trying to clear. Rick Smith pokes it up. Johansson fires it out, but right to O'Brien. O'Brien's pass bounces over, and Lanny McDonald, who tied up the game, gets it away to Sittler. Pass stopped by O'Brien. Turnbull on it. Played right back in. Graham blocking it. Looking for Miller. On the dasher, it bounces out to center ice. Sittler winding up for Johansson. Now to Turnbull. Ian Turnbull. Pass over the line, and Sittler can't collect it. Miller. A lead pass in, knocked away by Johansson. And this is icing. From the Garden, the score, Boston 2 and Toronto 2.
Come on and taste a real good time at Valley's. Come on and bring the family down to Valley's. It doesn't cost a lot to taste the best we've got. Everything's fresh here. The menu's the best here. Come on and taste a real good time at Valley's.
Valley's in Andover, Saugus, Braintree, and Newton, also in Kittery, Maine.
That's the time left in the second period. McNabb on the faceoff with Weir. Puck goes back to Mike Pelech. Glennie was thrown out of the game, third man in the fight in the first period between Sittler and Jonathan. Salming broken up by Wensink, and he can't get the shot away. Milbury back for it. Milbury checked and hit by Williams, and they're ready to go at it, and O'Reilly steps right in between, and we're going to have more action here as Ellis breaks it out over the line, and the play offside. Weir was hauled offside by O'Reilly. Williams and Milbury and O'Reilly just went right in between them. So, quite apparently, we'll have a lot more fighting left than a 2-2 game. Bob Miller coming out to play left wing for Wensink with McNabb and O'Reilly. The draw goes back to Boya Samin. Over to Pellick, up to Williams. He loses to Park. Park can't set up McNabb, and Samin plays it back in. Park up for Miller to McNabb. He's broken up. Milbury has it. Out to O'Reilly. O'Reilly over the line. Gets by Samin. Knocked down. Drops it back for Milbury. Milbury moving. Going wide. Drops it in front. It's blocked by Samin. Milbury hit by Williams. O'Reilly after Samin. Hauls him down. Out comes Ellis. Ellis to Weir. And Weir fires in. Back for it, Miller. Miller hit by Williams, but the puck cleared away. Down to the Toronto end. Icing. 13:43 left, second period. In a 2-2 game this afternoon, St. Louis beat Washington 3-2. And last night, St. Louis beat Chicago 5-4. But today, Chicago beat Pittsburgh 9-1. After the Penguins surprised Toronto last night with a victory. Ian Turnbull, the Toronto defenseman, and now Ferguson is centering Boutet and Butler. The Boston line, Rattel, Wensink, and Middleton. Jonathan and Walker still in the 5-minute majors. O'Brien around for Wensink. Wensink trying to move it out. Hit Sittler, Rattel, they all fight for it. Rattel snaps it in wide of Palmatier, and Turnbull starting back. Johansson up for Turnbull. Good puck carrier. Trying to move right through. Ridden off, and Rick Smith starts it back. For Rattel. Rattel to Wensink. The shot. The save, Palmatier. Good wrist shot by John Wensink. 40 feet out, but he had it on the corner, and Palmatier made the stop.
Well, here's a good crossfire shot. Now watch Wensink. He's going from left to right, but he fires it back to the right of Palmatier, who's now starting to come over to block the short side. And he has to very quickly readjust and come back the other way. That's a tough save for a goaltender to make. Bobby Orr was great at that. He used to streak down the right side, and then he'd cut over to the left side. Now, being a left-hand shot, he'd fire it back to the right-hand corner, and he'd score sometimes.
McDonald out in the 2-1 with Maloney. Park is back. McDonald passes, and it's behind Maloney, and Park comes right back on a break for Boston. 4 men up. Park with Rattel. Over the line. Shot. Save, Palmatier. And no rebound as he's able to trap it. And Toronto had a 2-1, and Park played that very well. Sittler, number 2 in leading scorers, tied with Trottier, Brian Trottier. Here it is.
Well, here's Park with a drive, partially screened, and right on target, but Palmatier was right there, ready to grab it. On those slap shots, it's difficult for the player shooting it to know where it's going, and of course it's even more difficult for the goaltender to know. He's just got to watch the puck, and sometimes they come right in the center, as that one did.
Shot, screen shot by Milbury, blocked in front, and Samin carries out. Samin, the clear in. McDonald, Milbury go for it. It's batted away. Samin keeps it in, cuts in front, fires, and it's wide. And he had a good threat there in that shot. Middleton taps it out. Jonathan trying to get it. Maloney broke him up. Maloney clears it back in. Milbury there, trying to move it out. Sittler kept it in, and it's a shot by McDonald. A save, Graham, the puck out, and Rattel with it with Middleton over the line. Off for Middleton. Middleton fires, blocked in front by Pellick, stolen by Middleton. Middleton in, the shot over. It struck Jonathan, went over the net. And back comes Sittler. A lead pass for McDonald too far. Rick Smith with it. Broken up. Sittler trying to move in. McDonald was offside on the play. From the Garden, the score, Boston 2 and Toronto 2.
You can take away my hook shot and the pass behind my back. You can take away all my deceptive moves and my slam dunk attack. All right. You can take away my rebound, yeah, my fast and fancy play. But please don't take my gusto away.
If you don't have stakes, you don't have gusto. Brother, you don't have faith.
Say, man, you double dribble my gusto.
the ability to take advantage of an opening left by the opposition. Middleton moves in, but unfortunately Jonathan got in his way right here, and he tried to flip it up for the top corner on that far side, but somehow the puck hit something on the way through, and it went over the top of the net.
Rick Smith broken up by Ferguson, and the puck in deep. Shepard around the boards for O'Brien. Up for Cashman. Cashman flipping in. Marcotte hustles in, gets it. The shot blocked, and Johansson to Ferguson. Out now for Boutet. Cashman hauls down Ferguson. Boutet is over the line with Turnbull. Turnbull trying to move in, broken up. O'Brien trying to clear it out. Now Marcotte carries it out. Up for Cashman. Cashman over the line, looking for Marcotte. It's broken up by the back checking of Ferguson. Out for Boutet with Butler. Long shot kicked away by Graham. Rebound, Cashman. Cashman can't move it out. Now has it again and carries. Trying to clear it in, can't. O'Brien tried to move it in, but that play was offside. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Boston Bruins Television Network.
This is TV 38, WSBK TV, Boston.
Well, I'd like to mention an event going on tomorrow night at the West Suburban Arena in Natick. The Framingham Picks of the American Junior Hockey League will be hosting a touring team from Gothenburg, Sweden. Västra Frölander Junior A hockey team will be playing there tomorrow night. Should be very interesting. And the kids put on quite a show, and it's at 7:45 tomorrow night at the West Suburban Arena in Natick. And if you go by, you'll have an enjoyable evening.
Puck to Brad Park. Clearing in now. McNabb, O'Reilly, and Wensink the line. Salming clears it off to Williams. Williams sweeps into center ice. Pass up for Pellick. Pellick back in front, blocked by Park. Park starts it away to McNabb, to O'Reilly. Coming up on Pellick. The pass is stopped by Salming and fired out to Williams with Walker. Walker, a shot. Save Graham. The rebound, Park. Park checked by Weir. Plays it around the other side for Milbury. Milbury trying to come out, checked. Williams there. Down goes Walker, the puck tied up, and the face-off called with 10:23 left in the second period in a 2-2 game that has featured a flock of fights, many of them involving Stan Jonathan, who has been throwing his weight around with good body checking. Boston had a 2-0 lead, but the Leafs have tied it. Ellis at right wing for Walker. Pellick a shot, save Graham. Weir, the rebound. Dropped it back, Salming, a shot, whistled it just wide. Rebound, Milbury, and that came close. Milbury starts it away for McNabb. McNabb clearing in. Wensink goes in, Palmatier gets it around to Williams. Williams hit by O'Reilly, the puck to Wensink. Wensink checked by Pellick. And Pellick gets the whistle and the face-off to the left of Mike Palmatier.
Well, Boston has played extremely well tonight. They've spent a lot of time in the Toronto end. If there's one thing you could say that might be critical about the Bruins' performance, Fred, is they're a little sloppy in their own end. They're giving Toronto, once they control the puck, that second opportunity, it slips off somebody's stick or a bad pass. Toronto's had some good scoring opportunities when it looked like Boston was controlling the play in their own end, and that's something can be very dangerous against a team that is opportunistic. They really take advantage of mistakes made in the other team's end. They've had a great season.
O'Reilly with it. O'Reilly to Rick Smith. Up the middle, a shot blocked. Miller trying to get it free, and Palmatier made a big stop there. The Bruins controlled it for a good shot by Rick Smith, and Palmatier was able to tie up that one. And John McCauley saying something to Palmatier. Can't even guess what that's about. Jimmy Jones and McNabb on the faceoff. Draw to Boston. Miller to Rick Smith. The pass blocked. Out comes Ellis. Ellis may get a break. Moves in. Hit the side of the net as Graham came out. Ellis centers it. Rick Smith trying to knock it away. And now O'Brien starts it out to McNabb with Miller. McNabb over the line. Off for Miller. Can't control it. Salming hit by Miller. O'Reilly with the puck. To Rick Smith. Up from Miller. Tapped in, and the Leafs back checking well. Williams clears it out. O'Brien over to Rick Smith. Back to O'Brien. He missed it. Able to get it now, though. And the clear out. McNabb to O'Reilly. Good play with Miller. O'Reilly over the line. O'Reilly left it for Rick Smith. The shot caught as Miller was pushed into the net by Ron Ellis. And the face-off to the right of Palmateer. 9:04 left. Second period, 2-2 game.
Good passing by the Bruins as Palmateer made another stop on a drive that was about knee-high as O'Reilly set this one up beautifully. Making the drop pass here to the defenseman, Rick Smith, and there's the drive, but Palmateer had a good look at it as the goal scoring. Cashman and Winsink in that order put Boston out in front 2-0. Weir in the first period made it 2-1, and McDonald has scored here in the second at 59 seconds.
Rattel, Jonathan Middleton, the Boston line against Sittler, Maloney, and McDonald. Milbury watching McDonald way up at center ice. The Bruins forecheck, and Rattel trying to get it to Jonathan. But out comes Turnbull off to Lanny McDonald. Fires in the corner. The rebound, Park. Around the boards, Jonathan. Check. Trying to work it out. Stop. Now Milbury works it out to Rattel. A good break here with Middleton. Off to Middleton. Rattel heads for the net. Middleton fires and misses. Rebound. Milbury can't keep it in at the left point. Park flips it up. Stopped. Sittler got it. Checked. Rattel has it. Looking for Jonathan. Knocked away by Johansson. Now Lanny McDonald right back. Over the line on the boards. Stopped. Keeps it in into the dangerous Sittler. A centering pass blocked by Milbury. Milbury around the boards and not out. Lanny McDonald, a quick flip in to Sittler. He can't get it. Milbury now to Jonathan. A pass out to Middleton. Middleton for Jonathan over the line with Park and closing. The shot right on the save. Palmateer. And boy, Johansson allowed Jonathan great penetration. A break in the action. The score, Boston 2 and Toronto 2.
Announcing the great Dodge option sale. Here's the 1978 Dodge Aspen, the greatest sales success story in Dodge history. Now with 17 popular options, sticker priced at $250 less than the cost of these options if purchased separately. Electronic options, styling options that come to your Dodge dealer at sticker prices that let him help you save during the great Dodge option sale.
Today's Dodge dealers
Face off to the right of Palmateer. Shepard, Cashman, Marcotte with Rick Smith and O'Brien. Schmutz still out of action. Shepard tried to move in with it, couldn't, and Boutette breaks it out with Butler. Butler's offside. 7:47 left.
Mentioning Bobby Schmutz, Fred reminded me that I didn't cover the Schmutz-Gilbert injuries, but Bobby has got that broken heel. He is improving after playing 3 games. He's sat out 4 now. Talked to him before the game, and he's going to start skating in earnest tomorrow and hopes to be back possibly in a week. Gilbert the same way. He's going to skate in a good scrimmage tomorrow and see how it feels.
Shepard backhands it in. Pellick there. Loses. Cashman got it in front. And it's knocked away now by the Leafs. Rick Smith. Over to O'Brien. O'Brien up to Cashman. Cashman to Shepard. Shepard to Marcotte. Marcotte to Cashman. The shot struck. Marcotte went wide. Cashman in the corner. Battling. Hit by Ferguson. Boutette there. And they freeze it. And pushing Boutette and Cashman. And they keep their sticks and they're shoving. And Cashman now moves in on him. But again, it's kind of wrestling. Boutette and Cashman. Cashman shoving along the boards. And now the linesmen who have had a very busy evening move in.
Leon Stickle and Will Norris have really earned their pay here tonight. And we are just a little past the halfway mark.
Not separated yet. As John McCauley looks on. And now they're separated. From Boston Garden, breaking the action. This is the Boston Bruins Television Network.
TWA introduces round-trip check-in. Now on TWA, you can check in once and fly twice.
When you pick up your outbound boarding pass, you can get your return trip boarding pass at the same time. So on the way back, you don't have to wait in line to check in again.
Great. That's one less line in my life.
Round-trip check-in, only on TWA. Check in once, fly twice.
Well, this is Ferguson and Cashman going into the boards. The body checking was clean. It was the high sticks that caused this problem. This 15 is Boutet. Watch the stick. I think he hits Cashman on the head right here with the stick coming down right there. And that's what prompted Cashman to get a little bit upset and decide that he was going to handle things. And we have another problem with penalties. Cashman and Boutet. The penalties will be assessed at 12:45 of the second period. We'll have to wait to see how they are assessed by the referee, John McCauley.
And it could be that Cashman's getting an extra penalty here, as he apparently heard a decision of McCauley, and now he's started halfway out of the box.
He may be upset at something the linesman told the referee regarding this thing, and he may be upset at either one of the two linesmen. The referee will, if he's not sure, will go to the two linesmen, one or the other or both, and ask them their opinions, and then he will draw his own conclusions. But Cashman looks like he's got a problem here, and he may be through.
They may have given him a misconduct, John, on top. Let's hope that that's all it is, and not that the Bruins will be penalized and be a man short in the situation.
Well, the game is all tied up at 2-2. Cashman at 7:59 of the first period put Boston out in front 1-0 with his 18th of the year. At 9:08, Wensing made it Boston 2, Toronto 0 with his 15th. At a 12:21, Stan Weir is 9th of the year, and that's the way the first period ended, 2-1 in favor of Boston. The Toronto Maple Leafs have scored the only goal here in the second period on a power play. They're 53rd of the year, McDonald from Salming and Sittler. And for Lanny McDonald is 42nd of the year.
Don Cherry moving in there, and now there is a 2-minute assessment. Well, that's on Boutet, number 15. Wait and see. Cashman has gone to the dressing room. Whether it's I don't know what's taking McCauley so long, and what seems, of all the battles tonight, that would rank as
Toronto penalty
the mildest.
To number 15, Pat Boutet. 2 minutes high sticking. 2 minutes unsportsmanlike conduct. 5 minutes fighting. For Boston, number 12, Wayne Cashman. 2 minutes high sticking. 5 minutes fighting, and a gross misconduct.
Well, that puts him through for the night. Cashman, that is, received high sticking 2 minutes, 5 minutes for fighting, and a gross misconduct, which is a gesture or saying something to a referee, linesman, whatever. And so he draws the game misconduct. On the other hand, Boutet gets high sticking, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct, and 5 minutes for fighting. So Boston will have the man advantage for 2 minutes because Boutet draws two 2-minute penalties and a 5. Cashman draws a 2 and a 5 in a game, but the game does not affect, and neither do the 5 minutes except against the player. So the Leafs will be a man short.
Roger Nielsen behind the Toronto bench, Boutet in the penalty box. And a gross misconduct could cover a lot of situations, but it might have been, could have pushed a linesman over there in the corner, although it didn't look like there was time for all that amount of penalties. And John McCauley, who's the type of referee, he's called more penalties tonight, more penalty minutes than he'll call in a month in the National Hockey League.
Well, this has been a penalty-filled game, I guess, with all the kind of ramifications that have been going on for one thing and another. But Cashman and Boutet are in the penalty box, or at least Cashman's in the dressing room, Boutet's in the penalty box.
And that's 79 minutes in penalties. But immediately, Boston a power play. Shepard, Marcotte, O'Reilly with McNabb and Park. Jones got the puck to Pellick. Around the boards, McNabb trying to keep it in, and Butler breaks it out. 2-on-1 with Jones. And the pass in front. Shepard got back and blocked the play, and out comes McNabb. He is barreling. Over the line. Drops it for O'Reilly. O'Reilly off for Park. The shot blocked by Palmatier, and the rebound cleared by Pellick. Shepard to O'Reilly. He's broken up. And Salming clears it in the Boston end. McNabb there. Now to Park, the quarterback on the power play. Starts it out, minute 20 left. 2-2 game. Up for McNabb. Butler checks it. Now it's batted in by McNabb, but Pellick there. Pellick checked by O'Reilly. O'Reilly back to Park, and a good play. In for O'Reilly. In for McNabb. In front. And it sweeps across, and Butler clears it out. 53 seconds left. 2-2 the score. 6:05 left in the second period. Park to O'Reilly. Trying to move in. He's checked. Park keeps it in. Park moving in deep. Still looking behind the net. Still going. Off in the corner. McNabb back at the point. Park holds it beautifully. Off for McNabb. A shot blocked. Salming tied it up. And the fans want a penalty for Salming reaching out to tie it up, but none called. 26 seconds left on the penalty. At the end of tonight's game, Schlitz Light Beer, the only light beer with gusto, will present the Most Valuable Player Award. Shepard, O'Reilly, Marcotte with McNabb and Park.
Well, we'll read from the book for you on the gross misconduct penalty on any player, manager, coach, or trainer who is guilty of gross misconduct of any kind. Any person incurring a misconduct penalty shall be suspended for the balance of the game. So maybe Cashman said something to the linesman. You don't know.
Shepard on the draw. Jones there, and Toronto gets it and clears. Back for Park. Penalty almost up. Over to McNabb. Looking for Shepard, who yelled for the pass, and McNabb gave it to him just a fraction of a second too late, and he was offside. So there are 15 seconds left on Boutette's penalty.
Boston's going to have to be careful here. If they move the puck in quickly to the Toronto end, Maloney, who is in the penalty box and will come out when Boutette's original penalty expires, will be in an excellent position if the Toronto Maple Leafs could spring him loose and get that puck up to him.
Smith and O'Brien are on defense, so Cherry has defensemen out there now as Palmatier gets it to Turnbull. He's checked. Rattel back for Rick Smith. Back up for Rattel. Rick Smith. In Jonathan. Couldn't deflect it. O'Brien moves in deep, but it's batted away into center ice. Maloney out to get it, but plays it back over the Toronto line. And Johansson. Pass stopped by Rick Smith. Fed back in wide of Palmatier. 5 minutes left, second period. 2-2 the score. Johansson loses to Jonathan. Jonathan trying to center it. Rattel has it in front, and Middleton couldn't backhand it. And out comes Maloney. Maloney over the line. Gets a shot away. Graham the save. The rebound is Rattel. Rattel off for Rick Smith. Back for Rattel. Rattel over the line. The puck rides in as Rattel was checked and is covered up by Palmatier. And stay tuned during the second period intermission. Johnny Pearson will have King Clancy as his guest. Then Dick Stockton will be talking with Red Sox captain Carl Yastrzemski in Winter Haven.
And King is ready and waiting over there in the runway behind the Bruins bench. And what a guy that guy is. Many, many years in the National Hockey League, doing all kinds of duties, mainly with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but a real character.
Shepard, Marcotte, Middleton, the line. Cashman out of the game. Glennie, third man in. Cashman, gross misconduct. 4:27 left, second period. 2-2 the score. Pellick drives it out. Graham has to play it. No icing. Milbury there. Around for Marcotte. Taps it out to the Toronto zone. Pellick with Shepard on him. Pass up into center ice. And Park on the rolling puck to Middleton. Middleton trying to move it out. Now Park starts it away. Up for Milbury. Milbury over the line. Drops it for Marcotte. Back in for Milbury. Knocked away by Parmentier. And Lanny McDonald to Sittler. Middleton checks Sittler. Sittler broken up by Park. Park right back. Off for Marcotte. Marcotte over the line. Fires. Save. Short side save. Puck knocked out. And to Sittler, 2-on-1 with Maloney. Sittler over the line. Off for Maloney. Maloney right back. Save. A beauty by Graham. And Milbury clears. Icing on the play. And a fine stop by Ron Graham on Dan Maloney, who was set up by Sittler on a 2-on-1 break. And the Bruins have given up more of those tonight than they have in many a game.
A nice play by Darryl Sittler, setting up Maloney. Watch him fake the shot, so he draws Park as deep as he possibly can, then fires it back to Maloney. This is good timing. And he was right on target, but Graham stayed right with it. Very quick action by Graham as he moved over to adjust to that pass by Sittler, who set up the play beautifully.
The draw to O'Brien. Around looking for Wensink. Can't get it. Walker is hit by McNabb and spun down. O'Reilly with the puck. Check. Gets it to Rick Smith. Up the boards. O'Reilly breaks it out with McNabb on the far right. Maybe 2-on-1. O'Reilly in front. It's blocked by Turnbull. Walker trying to clear it out. Rick Smith keeps it in front. McNabb can't get the pass. Wensink keeps it in now. To McNabb. To O'Reilly. He can't get the shot away. And Weir off to Williams. Williams coming up on O'Brien. Cuts across in front, is broken up. The puck stays with him. And O'Brien gets it now. To McNabb. A breakout for Boston. Wensink coming up on the left side. McNabb has to wind up again. Gives it off to O'Reilly. He's up the middle. Over the line. He's in. He scores! Terry O'Reilly! A brilliant rush. Up the middle. Between the defense. Drew Parmentier out. And O'Reilly gives Boston a 3-2 lead.
This is the hockey player, number 24, Terry O'Reilly, catches the youngster, Johansson. No experience, but this is a magnificent play. He gets Parmentier to commit himself and then draws it to the side on the backhand and flips it home. A beautiful play by Terry O'Reilly, but credit Peter McNabb with a good play. He actually, by spinning around, drew the Toronto defense over to one side, leaving Johansson all by himself, the youngster in his first year in the National Hockey League. And O'Reilly took advantage of it and moved in. And the Bruins out in front 3-2.
Well, there's a sign for Terry O, who scored a beautiful goal. Rattel to Middleton. They can't move it in. And Salming back with Sittler. Pass into the corner. Milbury there. Drives it right out. All the way to Parmentier. 2:15 left in the second period. Salming up to McDonald. Blocked by Milbury. And Milbury bounced off him into the stands. The face-off at center ice. Terry, beautiful goal scorer's goal.
Well, here's a beautiful play. His head up. He's watching Parmentier. He's got the puck out in front. Now he'll fake it to one side, get Parmentier to move. And Parmentier almost got that with a catching glove. O'Reilly just managed to get it up enough to pop it right over the glove.
It's the 13th second period in a row that the Bruins have scored at least one goal. Rattel, Jonathan Middleton with Milbury and Park. Milbury clears it in with 2 minutes left in the second period. In the corner, Jonathan fighting to keep it in, but out comes Ferguson. Flips it wide of Graham. Back first, Milbury. Milbury, Middleton. And it's fed in the Toronto end. Jonathan in on Salming. And they just go gently in the corner this time, and it's tied up. O'Reilly's 26th of the year from McNabb on O'Brien at 17:29 here in the second period to give Boston a 3-2 lead. Earlier scores by Cashman and by Wensink, and Cashman tossed out of the game in a gross misconduct. Minnesota leads the Rangers 3-2 in the second period of their game tonight. This afternoon, St. Louis 3, Washington 2. And Chicago 9, Pittsburgh 1. Bruins meet Cleveland Tuesday night. We'll have the action right here from Cleveland. The draw, Shepard to Milbury, shot off Shepard and deflects wide. Sittler with it. Shepard on him, and the pass is too far, and Milbury has it. Milbury up for Middleton, ahead for Shepard. Shepard holding inside the line. A pass in front. Marcotte couldn't tip it home, and he trips over Parmentier. Beautiful timing, almost worked. Shepard and Marcotte. Maloney off for Sittler. Sittler checked, still has it. Fell down. Shepard gets it over the line with Marcotte. Goes for the shot. Save! And the clear by Turnbull as the Bruins had it right in front again. Sittler right back. Those big strides. He's broken up on an easy poke check by Park to Shepard. Passes to an open wing. 50 seconds left in the period. Middleton in the forecheck against Johansson. Shepard to Marcotte. It's knocked away. Milbury with it. Knocked back over the line and takes the offside. A smart move with 42 seconds left. Sittler, McDonald, Maloney the line with Turnbull and Johansson. And Boston in front 3-2. Terry O'Reilly. Of course, he's surpassed his best goal totals. And he has 26 now. Had a big fight with Maloney right at the start of the game. Just about everybody's been in a fight on both sides. Shepard, Middleton, and Marcotte. Shows you how Middleton has developed as a checker. John Cherry uses him in situations like this. Shepard over the line. The shot is wide. Rebound, Williams. But back to get it, Middleton. He's checked. Puck goes loose. Butler has it. Butler slides it in. Checked by Park. Milbury trying to wheel it around. Jones intercepts. Jones pass stopped by Park. To Marcotte. To Park. 3-on-2 for the moment. Park lost it on the dribble. And back comes Toronto with a threat. Jones. He's all alone, though. The Bruins get back. The shot. Stunned Graham. Oh, hit him high in the mask. Shot by Jones. Puck kept in by Jones again. A shot blocked. And a whistle by McCauley as Shepard went down. And it's Dan Canny out to look at Graham, who took that high shot by Jones. It stunned him. 6 seconds left in the period. And Dan Canny talking to him. This is Jim Jones, certainly not known for his shots or goal-scoring ability, but he ripped this one off right from the blue line. And it seemed to take off. And it struck Graham as he went up and caught him high. But just a double check by Canny. He's okay. There is the shot. And Graham coming up for it, and that stunned him. The rebound out in front, but the Bruins covered it. Turnbull clears it in. Time running out in the period. Graham okay, back to touch it for Park, who seems to be again everywhere here tonight. Score at the finest with the Bruins in the second period tonight. The Bruins scored 1 goal, and Mae Thomason of Lincoln, Rhode Island, is the winner of 2 tickets to a future Bruins game, plus a $25 food certificate from the finest. Enter now at your finest supermarket and score with the Bruins. At the end of 2, Boston 3, the Leafs 2. Tom Larson will be right back with second period intermission after these messages.
Recently, the Yellow Pages selected 49 different retailers, from bakers and bankers to restaurants and roofers. Each was given a special phone number to appear only in their ad in the Yellow Pages. During a measured time period, all incoming calls were metered. The minimum number of calls to any retailer was 156. The maximum was 3,575. Proof it pays to run your business in the Yellow.
Hey guys, Grandma's got a surprise for you. There's a whole batch of them. How many are there?
12. Come on, come on, come on and taste the Pepsi way. Come on, come on, come on and have a Pepsi day. The laughter of a world at play. Memories of a Pepsi day. Come on and have a Pepsi day.
Wempus, if this package isn't in Peoria by tomorrow morning, it's your job.
Freeman, if this package isn't in Peoria by tomorrow morning, it's yours.
Benson,
this package isn't in Peoria by tomorrow morning...
Harley, if this package is not in Peoria by tomorrow...
If more people knew enough to call Federal Express in a situation like this, it sure would save everybody a whole lot of grief.
Hello, Federal.
Federal Express, when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight.
Midnight is mystery. Midnight is excitement. Now, midnight is Cougar, the Midnight Cat, in midnight blue and chamois. A bold new Mercury Cougar XR7 for $78, with deeply cushioned buckets, floor shift, console, and padded tire deck. Cougar XR7 Midnight Cat.
Isn't this your year to join the cat set?
The Bruins and Toronto at the end of 2 periods now, with the score Boston 3 and Toronto 2. 2-period shots on goal totals Boston 17 and Toronto 13. During the intermission here between the second and third periods, John Pearson talks with King Clancy, and Red Sox broadcaster Dick Stockton talks with Carl Yastrzemski. 2-period shots on goal totals Boston 17 and Toronto 13. During the intermission here between the second and third periods, John Pearson talks with King Clancy, and Red Sox broadcaster Dick Stockton talks with Carl Yastrzemski. Here's John Pearson.
Well, King, we've got you in the penalty box where I think some Boston's fans would like to keep you.
Johnny, I've been in here many, many times in my career, and tonight, this is an old-time game. This is the best hockey game that I've seen this winter, and I've seen them all. I mean, all our team played. I've seen Boston play. This has got to be the toughest, hardest game that we've played this year, and I think perhaps it's the same with Boston. And I want to give Boston a lot of credit because Cherry and Sinden, they've done a terrific job with this hockey club, because on paper they don't look like the hockey club that they are. They're a great hockey club. They're a tough hockey club. When they get you in the corners, they don't let you out.
King, a lot of people knocking the game of hockey over the past couple of years. You've been around in many, many years. I'm not going to tell the people just how many. In your estimation, is some of the opinions true, or is this game strong? Has it got some problems?
I don't think there are too many problems, John, because to me, this kind of hockey is back when you played with this hockey club in here. And I want to say the league hasn't gone back one iota, but we have a couple of weak teams, but every now and again they come up big. So the hockey to me is just as good today, better than it has been years ago.
How about the Leafs' performance, King, so far this season? They've done a lot better than I thought they might, a lot better than a lot of people thought they might.
Johnny, I think when we get in the playoffs, I think we're going to be the team to beat. I'd like to come back here to Boston for a series with them, and this would be really something. We'd pack this place, because Toronto always draws well in here, and this kind of a hockey team that we've got, we're not finished yet, you know. In another couple of years, we'll have a couple of more young guys.
I don't know if I can stand the pressure, King.
Well, it's a great game. You can stand it. You've been all through this.
Well, it's been a tough 2 periods, King.
Really tough. I wouldn't want to be out there, John.
I really wouldn't.
Taking those belts they've taken tonight. Both teams have hit hard. But it's a cleanly played game. They've had a few fights. What's this? This is all in the game. You have a few fights here and there, and this is what draws the people back. They can say what they like, you know. People don't want fights. 9 out of 10, I'm one of them. 9 out of 10 want to see a little action, and they're getting it tonight.
King, I'm going to put you right on the spot. You look great. I've never seen you look so well, and you're really in fine fettle. But let me ask you a question. When did you play your first game in the National Hockey League? What year? Can you remember back?
I played my first game in 1921 with the Ottawa Senators.
That's a great lousy trick, isn't it?
Well,
King?
yeah, no, that's all right, John. But, you know, I had a birthday the other day. I'm 75. I've been in the National Hockey League for 58 years doing something. I'm not doing much now, but I used to come in here a lot as a player. I came in here as a referee, and I loved it.
King, I want to thank you very much. As always, it's a pleasure chatting with you.
Thanks very much, John. It's a pleasure being back here in Boston to meet a lot of my own friends, including yourself.
King Clancy, the assistant general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, been our guest here at the end of the second period, and now to Tom Larson.
Some guy. Guests appearing on our Bruins intermission program receive a 12-inch portable black and white TV from Magnavox. The picture adjusts automatically to room brightness, so you get a crisp, clear picture all the time. Here's a schedule of games that we'll be televising this week. Tomorrow night, the New York Islanders, the leaders in their division, play their closest pursuers, the Philadelphia Flyers. That's at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Starting time, 8 o'clock for the NHL 78 telecast tomorrow. The Bruins are in Cleveland for an 8 o'clock game Tuesday, back home Thursday night against the Blackhawks. And next Sunday at this time, we'll be watching the Bruins against the Montreal Canadiens at Boston Garden. Dick Stockton talks with Carl Yastrzemski. Next on our intermission program, we're at the end of 2 periods. Boston 3, Toronto 2.
You can take away my drummer, take away the bass. You can take away my guitar picker and close down the place. You can take away my keyboard, I can swing it night or day. Just please don't take my gusto away.
If you don't have slits, you don't have gusto.
And brother, you don't have beer.
If you think flying to Florida should be fun, we're playing your song. Delta Airlines is serving champagne in tourist on every nonstop to Florida. We have 6 nonstops a day to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and 3 to Tampa. Night coach fares, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, $100, Tampa, $96. Pour yourself a happy trip.
Delta is ready when you are.
Little pies for little guys. Hungry Man is more my size. Swanson Hungry Man meat pies. Big pies for big guys. Right, Rosie?
You said it, Dad.
A whole pound of pie with more than twice as much meat as regular pot pie. And chunks of meat a man can sink his teeth into. You got a big guy? Give him a big pie. Hungry Man meat pies from Swanson. Chicken, turkey, or beef. They're my size.
First place in the Adams division is at stake as the Toronto Maple Leafs head into town for a showdown. Watch Darryl Sittler and goalie Mike Palmatier as they try to stop Terry O'Reilly, Peter McNabb, and rookie Bob Minter. Stay with TV 38 Sunday at 7:30 and catch all the exciting Bruins action.
The Red Sox have been at work in Winter Haven for a couple of weeks now, and opening day for their season is April the 7th. Our first of 4 spring training telecasts is next Saturday afternoon, and that's at 1:30 when the Red Sox will face the White Sox. We'll offer the full 4-game schedule here in just a moment, but right now here's Dick Stockton with Carl Yastrzemski.
If you want to get a true assessment on what the Red Sox are doing, a guy who's been around long enough and really levels with you is Carl Yastrzemski. And you're back for another season. I'd like to know, honestly, your feelings on what you think the Red Sox can do.
Well, last year I said that the Yankees were the team to beat, and if we played excellent baseball, we'd have a chance. I think it was an exciting season. They had a little too much for us. This year I'm very optimistic. I think that by adding Torres, Drago, and Bergmeyer, along with Remy, that we now have a chance to beat the Yankees, and I'm much more optimistic that we can beat them than I was last year, and we only lost by 2 games.
What about getting off to that good start? Is it important? Last year, Red Sox lost their first 4 games, but still managed to win 97. Is it important to get off to a good start, really?
It's always important to get off to a good start because they mean as much as the games do in September. I think the big thing which hurt us last year is the 2 long losing streaks. You have to win a lot of games in order to make up losing, 9 in a row, 13 in a row, what we did. If someone would have said that we'd have lost 9 games in a row before the season started last year, I would never have believed it.
That's where pitching comes in, though, right? The stopper?
Well, I think last year, I know the pitching took a lot of abuse. We had some good pitch games, and we also had some games which everything didn't gel. I think that's what causes the losing streak. I think with Torres, definitely Tiant will bounce back, have an excellent year this year. Bill Lee is throwing the ball great down here in spring training, very loose, and he's throwing as hard as he did 2-3 years ago. I think our rotation is going to be excellent. Our balance in the bullpen is going to be good. And I think the most important thing is that we will have Dwight Evans back this year. Everyone talked about the pitching last year. I think the big thing which hurt us last year was missing Dwight Evans for 2 months. I think you can miss a regular ball player for 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. Someone will come in and do the job, fill in, but you can't miss an everyday ball player of Evans' talent for 2 months and not get hurt by it.
Carl, can the fans necessarily anticipate the same kind of numbers in home runs and RBIs? That was an unusual year power-wise.
I think it was, Dick. We have a lot of ball players that can hit home runs, almost everyone in the lineup. Whether we will hit as many as we did last year, I don't know. First time in 17 years at Fenway Park in April and May did I ever see the wind blow out every day. Usually you have a northeaster wind coming in, blowing in from right field, and that changes that whole ballpark around. When the wind blows in, it's very difficult to hit a home run. But when the wind is blowing out, it's very easy. And as I said, I never saw the wind blow out as much as it did last year in Fenway Park, and I think that was maybe one of the reasons why we hit so many home runs.
Last thing, every time you step on the field, you approach another record, and you have surpassed some of the great names in baseball. Any goals that you set for yourself? I know that the one thing you want, of course, is world championship. Anything personally?
Well, I really don't think about it because I think that adds more pressure to the individual when you start worrying about hitting certain goals. I've always felt the most easiest way to relax is just to go out and try to win a ball game and help the team whatever way possible. Then all of a sudden everything seems to fall in line. When you say you're going to go out and drive in 100 runs and hit so many home runs and bat such and such an average, I think it puts too much pressure on an individual. Just try in every way possible to help the Red Sox to win, and usually your goals will fall in place.
Okay, and our first exhibition telecast is next Saturday afternoon at 1:30, and it matches the Red Sox and the White Sox. The others will have the Red Sox against the Mets on Thursday, March 30th, against the Atlanta Braves on Sunday, April 2nd, and the Pittsburgh Pirates on Tuesday, April the 4th. All four of those games start at 1:30. Back to hockey, where at the end of 2 periods at Boston Garden, the score is Boston 3, Toronto 2. We'll be back to recap the game to this point right after this.
Signore, with all those fantastic Italian sports cars, why did you buy a Volkswagen Scirocco?
È la più bella macchina mai vista. Meravigliosa, fantastica.
We can see it's beautiful, but what makes a Scirocco so great?
L'andatura, la velocità, la maneggiabilità.
Ah, the speed, the handling, the performance. That's why you bought a Volkswagen Scirocco.
Volkswagen does it again.
I'm Tom Russell, reminding you that the new Big Money game gives you a new $1 million TV game every week, and you could get your chance at $1 million by matching just one digit. That's what June Lewis of Wendell Depot did. On February 22nd, just 3 weeks after the start of the new game, she became our first new Big Money game millionaire. She won $50,000 a year for 20 years. You could win, too. Just play the new Big Money game with a new $1 million game every week.
Come on and taste a real good time at Valley's. Come on and bring the family down to Valley's. It doesn't cost a lot to taste the best we've got. Everything's fresh here. The menu's the best here. Come on and taste a real good time at Valley's.
Valley's at Andover, Saugus, Braintree, and Newton. Also in Kittery, Maine.
Where do you go for good old service when you need a mortgage or when you need a loan? Where do you go for good old savings where you know you'll feel at home? Well, the Boston 5-cent Savings Bank is the place in good old Boston. The Boston 5-cent Savings Bank for good old Boston.
All right, start of third period action. Let's go back now to Fred Cusick and John Pearson.
Centering Maloney left and Kurt Walker on the right wing side. Milbury plays it up to McNabb. He's checked, and Saming right back. Jones broken up by Park. O'Reilly breaks up the right side. Good break here with McNabb. Closing to McNabb in the middle. A shot just over the net. Oh, O'Reilly set him out beautifully. Behind the net, Saming trying to move it out. Up for Maloney. Out to Jones. Jones plays it in the Boston zone. Park there. Checked. Walker. Checked. Down goes O'Reilly and Walker. McNabb back to get it. Somebody lost a stick. McNabb breaks it out. Milbury is up and off to Wensink. Breaking in. The shot. Save Palmatier. Wensink fights for the rebound. In front. McNabb scored! Peter McNabb from John Wensink as the big glove swinger made a heavy shot on Palmatier. Got the rebound. And McNabb's 35th of the year makes it 4-2.
Well, the good pass here by McNabb starts the confusion right here in the Toronto end. A big stop by Palmatier, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are running around. And watch McNabb right in front. And he farted underneath Palmatier, not picked up by any Leaf. And Peter McNabb, who was really moving through that blue line area of the opposition, set that play up beautifully. Wensink with a nice centering pass, and it's now 4-2 Boston.
Well, Wensink has a goal and an assist. A lead pass to Marcotte. He's breaking in left side. Tough angle shot. Short side save Palmatier, and he covers up. A lot of credit to Wensink, John. He's got a heavy shot, that hard one.
Well, nice little pass here, or good shot rather, by Wensink to start with. And now he's going to be in there. He makes the stop, and then he just flips it out in front. He really is not looking for McNabb or anybody. He just figures that maybe somebody will be parked in front. That's sort of one of those plays that every now and then works. Sometimes it doesn't, but McNabb was uncovered in front.
Rick Smith, a screen shot kicked out by Palmatier. Williams trying to come back. Check. And O'Brien breaks it up. For Shepard, it rolls for Ferguson. Now Shepard to Marcotte. Played back, stopped by Turnbull, and Toronto is offside on the play. So O'Reilly's breakthrough, set up by McNabb and O'Brien late in that second period at 17:29, made it 3-2. And McNabb here, who has figured in 3 of the 4 goals. Wensink 1 assist. The time 45 seconds here in the third period. Cashman out of the game, and so Bob Miller is at left wing now with Rattel and Middleton. Don Cherry shaking up the lines a bit. Rick Smith, the lead pass. Rattel hustles in, Palmatier out, clearing it, not out. Turnbull, Rattel battle. And Turnbull is pinned and a face-off called. Glennie, of course, was thrown out early in the game, third man in, so both teams missing key personnel in Brian Glennie, defenseman Toronto, and Wayne Cashman, the Bruins captain. Shepard line comes out against Sittler's line.
One other note on the gross misconduct penalty in the rule book. It can be handed out by the referee for almost anything involving something that really is not part of the game of hockey. Most of the time it's created by situations where fights occur, and then one player says something or does something that the referee deems to be under that rule.
Turnbull away to Ferguson. He breaks up the middle. A lead pass now to Butler, and Butler is offside. And a good thing for Boston he was really on the move at right wing. That's George Ferguson out of the Toronto Marlboros junior hockey team. What they term in hockey a tramper. He stomps up and down. Doesn't do much in scoring, but he stayed up with the team. O'Reilly also assists on the goal. O'Reilly and Wensink assists for McNabb's goal, but made it 4-2. Bruins earlier had a 2-goal lead, but we're in the third period now. And Rick Smith, a shot. The screen misses short side. At the other side, O'Brien keeps it in. Turnbull trying to move it out. Middleton intercepts, lost it. Hustles back, got it, but Sittler gets it now. Sittler, weaving, is broken up. Rick Smith, the clear in. Bob Miller playing left wing, hustles in. Is taken off the play by Turnbull, and Johansson away to Sittler. Sittler to Maloney, to McDonald, broken up. Puck kept in by the Leafs, bouncing. McDonald centered it, and off the boards, Middleton out with Miller. Park coming up too. Middleton goes for the shot, and a save by Palmatier. 4-2, the Bruins lead. Dan Maloney starts it out, broken up by Marcotte. Mike Pellick rushes. The clear in, long rebound. Sittler pokes it in deep. Maloney behind the net, checked. It rolls out for Middleton. Can't clear it. Shepard digs it away. Breaks now, picking up Marcotte. Off to Marcotte. Marcotte wheeling, moving in. Still in. A shot blocked by Salming. And McDonald starts it away. Checked by Marcotte and Jonathan. Jonathan and Maloney battling. Now Shepard on it. And it's poked up to Sittler. Sittler A shot in, kicked out by Graham. And Mike Milbury has the rebound. Out to Marcotte. Off for Shepard. Fed back in. Marcotte and Salming go in deep. Marcotte after it, has it. Checked. Battles. Rolls it around the other side, and Mike Milbury moves in to keep it in. Again around to Marcotte. Marcotte out to Jonathan. And he hit it on the goal, and it's blocked. Rebound in front as Marcotte slams down Salming to the ice with some solid hitting. Maloney intercepted. Marcotte shot and a save. Maloney gave it to Marcotte as the Bruins had glittering chances to add to their lead. Park with it now. Long pass center ice stopped by Salming. Salming to Williams. Can't cut through. Broken up by Park. To McNabb with Jonathan. To Jonathan over the line. Moving. The shot. Scores! Stan Jonathan barreling in. He's had fights. He's had battles. And he's in a scoring streak. His 9th goal in the month of March. And Jonathan makes it 5-2.
Well, Stan Jonathan with a half wrist, half slap. Now you'll notice how short he takes the backswing on the slap shot. That's sort of a half wrist, half slap shot. And he just whistled it by Palmatier. Actually, Mike Palmatier looked pretty well set. He looked like he was up at the top, but that little sort of half wrist, half slap shot, not the big windup. Palmatier may have been just a little bit leery of where that puck was going, and Jonathan beat him.
And McNabb figured in that one. He's figured in 4 of the 5 goals. And left point, Rick Smith keeping it in. It's kicked away by Ellis, taken by O'Brien. To O'Reilly. Off for Wensink. He can't get it. Ellis trying to move. Now Turnbull too far ahead of Williams. Williams and O'Brien go in deep. And no icing, they say. The Leafs keep it in. Weir back to Johansson. A pass in front to Ellis. Just checked by Rick Smith. There was an open net for him for a moment. Weir trying to center it. Is checked by O'Brien. Up for Wensink, who's turned a strong game. To O'Reilly. Barreling ahead. Falls down, the puck cleared out. O'Brien has it to Rick Smith. And fed right back in. O'Reilly in the forecheck on Turnbull. Wensink forechecks. Ellis trying to come out. Turnbull checked by Rattel. Sweeps it away. Down wide of Graham. And with this break in the action, let's pause for this message.
Listen to what people are saying about their home video recorders.
Mine records only 2 hours per cassette.
There's a better one. It offers up to 4 hours. Magnavox.
I paid extra for a separate timer.
Magnavox comes with a timer built in.
Can't edit by remote control.
With the better one, you can.
Costly cassettes.
More tape for your money with the Magnavox home video cassette recorder. The better one. New from Magnavox.
Well, too far out normally to expect a player to score from this angle, but Jonathan, off his back foot, whistled one by Palmatier. Palmatier must have taken his eye off it for a moment on the way through, because it was not that hard a shot, but very well placed.
5th goal in 4 games, 9th goal in the month of March for Stan Jonathan as Boston. Rattel gets it over the line off for Middleton. Middleton off for Miller. Miller shot. Save Palmatier. Bob Miller didn't get good wood on it, as the Bruins are really breezing here. And Peter McNabb, with 4 points tonight, now has 72 on the season with a goal and 3 assists.
I wonder if the battling all through the first 2 periods has not worn the Leafs down a little bit, Fred. Boston seems to be now taking charge.
And Rattel off for Middleton. He's in. Scores! Rick Middleton from John Rattel. And Rattel got the faceoff over to him. And Rick Middleton gets number 20 for him to make it 6-2.
Well, this is the goal scorer in Rick Middleton. A nice pass by Rattel, but watch when Palmatier goes down. Rick Middleton pulls the trigger and goes upstairs. Now, that's a great play. He put that right under the crossbar. Palmatier had the lower part of the net covered, but Middleton with his head up, and he just gave it a little flick of the wrist. And up in that top corner, and it's now 6-2 Boston.
Ron Graham gets the puck of the Boston end around, looking for Marcotte. He's checked, but Shepard gets it outside. And Turnbull there, checked. Shepard And it's pinned. And from Boston Garden, the score, Boston 6 and Toronto 2.
People are saying we Pontiac dealers are going out of our birds. With foreign car prices sky high, how can we sell this hot little Sunbird for $34.56? Well, we told you this is Pontiac's best year yet for deals. In fact, right now, we're taking that Sunbird price and knocking it down again to under $34.56, under $34.56 for one of the hottest Pontiacs of the year. But prices are bouncing back after April 8th. So get on over and price our Pontiacs now, because these birds are going to fly.
Play on at center ice. O'Brien over to Rick Smith. He's checked, but now gets it up to Marcotte. And Turnbull with it for the Leafs. Goals by McNabb from Wensink and O'Reilly after 45 seconds. Jonathan from McNabb and Park, and then Middleton from Rattel at 5:24. Puck in the corner. Jonathan in after it. In front to Shepard, and he overskated it. Would have been alone in front. Back comes Sittler. Sittler checked by O'Brien to Rick Smith, and the puck is cleared away. Rattel and Miller get assists on that last goal. Here's Marcotte checking Johansson as the Bruins break it open with 3. And O'Brien keeping it in. It goes to Marcotte, into O'Reilly. To Marcotte, and he abandoned the shot. O'Reilly passed up a clear-cut chance. And back comes Turnbull. Turnbull checked by O'Brien and ridden off. Just what Cherry wants O'Brien to do. Play the man. And back comes O'Reilly. O'Reilly trying to move in, broken up by Salming. To McDonald. McDonald a shot blocked by Rick Smith, goes high in the corner. Wensink there, digs it free and starts it back to O'Reilly. Flipped it out to center ice. Cleared away with it, McNabb. Offside, John Wensink, who is cruising up and down that left wing and really barreling with this break in the action. Let's pause for this message. This is Fred Cusick for Eastern Airlines. If the right place for you is Washington or Houston, Eastern has the right time for you. 6 non-stops to Washington National Airport are conveniently scheduled from early morning to evening, and 6 non-stops back make it just as easy to return. To Houston, Eastern gives you the only wide-body movie flight. Just sit back, relax, and watch the show. There's a small charge for headsets in coach. So if you're flying to Washington or Houston, call your travel agent or Eastern Airlines in Boston or Worcester. Eastern's got the right time and the right place for you. Now, Boston has scored 49 goals in 10 games in March, John. They're really doing a job. And this was a bruising game for 2 periods. Here's a break. Wensink over the line, bearing in the shot. Save Palmatier. Wensink another chance for a goal. O'Reilly hauled down. Wensink has it to McNabb. Broken up. And Ron Ellis winding up to come out. Gets it off to Stan Weir. Weir off for Ellis. Stolen away by Milbury. He's right back. Stolen by Weir. Williams tried to line up Milbury, missed him. And Turnbull now over to Salming. 11:53 left in the 3rd period. The pass to Williams is offside.
Fred, I would venture to say that this may be one of Don Cherry's most cherished games, really. I think after the game he may say his troops came out here. It was toe-to-toe. They battled the Leafs to a standstill, and now they've taken over in this hockey game. The Leafs are tired. Boston is still going extremely well. Got to be in great shape, and of course that's a tribute to Cherry, keeping him that way. But this was a bruising game and one that Cherry likes to see.
Rattel almost tipped that one home on a deflection of a Rick Smith shot. Middleton pokes it in. Rattel hit by Palmatier, who's mad, and here's a pass in front. Miller can't get the loose puck. Nobody in the net. The shot blocked. Miller a shot. Missed the net. Had missed the open corner. Middleton trying to keep it in. Up for Rattel. To Rick Smith, to Miller, broken up. And Turnbull clears it out. And Palmatier obviously upset. Kind of took a run at John Rattel. And the Bruins had great chances to score while he was moving around. Rick Smith hit by Jones. Turnbull rushes with Boutet. The pass to Boutet, and he scores. A 2-on-1 break. Ian Turnbull set up Pat Boutet. And the Leafs close as Boston leads now 6-3.
Well, Big Ian Turnbull, a fine offensive defenseman, and he knows how to carry the puck and what to do with it. Here's a beautiful play. Watch him fake O'Brien to go down. He gets Graham to commit himself, and then Boutet would like a few of those. Open net, and he just laid it into the open corner. as Boutet scores on a beautiful setup by Ian Turnbull. And with 11:05 left to play, third period, Boston out in front 6-3.
9 minutes played here in the third period. Salming clears it up, blocked by Milbury. To Marcotte, to Shepard. Fed in. Jonathan's playing right wing on this line. And Shepard keeps it in to Jonathan for Park. Back for Jonathan. Jonathan, check. Gets it to Marcotte. Marcotte checked in the corner. And the puck goes loose. Salming there. Off on the boards to Butler. Checked by Jonathan and fed in deep. Shepard in. Goes the other corner. Marcotte there. Got it to loose. Boutet knocked down. And it's tied up now for a faceoff. And Jonathan sort of challenging Pellick there. And now the linesmen step in. And nothing comes of it. A break in the action. The score, Boston 6 and Toronto 3. Off for Schmatz over the line, fires. It's wide. Rebound, Marcotte in front, scores! John Rundell! When the Bruins score on TV, you win at the finest. Every time the Bruins score on TV 38, you can win a pair of tickets to a Bruins home game and $25 in gift certificates at the finest. You can even win a vacation for two in sunny San Juan. Enter now at any finest supermarket and watch on TV 38. Score at the finest.
Well, he's not very big, Fred, from the ground up, but they don't measure it with Stan Jonathan on that basis.
Just playing tremendous hockey for the Boston Bruins, Stan Jonathan. Puck kept in by Wensink on the boards now, trying to center it. He's checked. Wilson out there on defense. McNabb has it in front. Rolls to Park. Park can't get the shot away. And Sittler to McDonald. McDonald with Maloney coming up. The shot and the save by Graham. Park has it right back. Hook. The play by Turnbull. They let it go. And Graham makes a big stop on Lanny McDonald. And McCauley let that go. Flagrant hooking, and the fans don't like it. Out comes McNabb over the line, in front to Wensink. In. Hit the side of the net. Wensink trying to center it again. It's blocked. And out comes the Leafs. 3-on-2. Sittler to Maloney. Maloney broken up by Park. And the puck back at the line. Kept in by McDonald, stopped by Park, who's been everywhere. O'Reilly off to Wensink. And it's fed in wide of Palmateer. 6-3, the Bruins lead. This is Wilson to Maloney. Broken up on a sweep check by Middleton. He's got a break in. Middleton coming up the right side. Off for Rattel. The shot. He missed the net. Rattel out in front. Drops it, and O'Brien can't get it. It rolls to the Boston end, and Graham comes way out to clear it away. At center ice, Williams with it. Right back, a shot, and Graham ready for it. And Graham covers up. And Middleton with a sweep check on Dan Maloney. And I don't want to downgrade Maloney, but he's given the puck away a couple of times tonight, John.
Well, I got to say this on his behalf, is that it's very tough getting adjusted. He came to Toronto as a muscle man. I haven't seen too much of that tonight, except at the start when he battled O'Reilly. But it's going to take him a while to get adjusted, as it does with almost any player when he changes teams.
And Bob Miller getting Graham a new stick.
Well, I don't know why this wasn't a penalty, and this could have been a very costly play because McDonald came in and picked the puck up. He got a good shot away, almost put it behind Graham, but that was a flagrant violation of hooking.
On the puck, Rattel can't move it out. O'Brien has it. Now to Middleton, who scored his 20th goal. To Miller. Miller checked by Ellis in the corner. And the Bruins' depth very helpful. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Boston Bruins Television Network.
This is TV 38, WSBK TV, Boston.
I saw Bob Miller playing left wing, which gives him a chance to play a lot of hockey. Has to tonight. The draw back. Rick Smith, screen shot, blocked. With it, Salming. 6-3, the Bruins lead. 8:27 left in the game. Ron Ellis. Now to Salming, up the middle. Off for Pellick. Pellick in deep. The shot deflected high. Miller in the corner clears it right out. And this will be icing. In that Minnesota and New York Ranger game, it's 3-2 at the end of one. From Boston Garden, breaking the action, this is the Boston Bruins Television Network.
The Great Ford Drive is really rolling throughout New England. Yes, the better ideas keep coming from your Ford dealer. Thousands of specially ordered 78 Fords. Like this mid-size Fairmont wagon, with about 90% of the passenger space of full-size wagons, and a surprisingly low sticker price. We've got the cars you want. So get on the move during the Great Ford Drive. Get a great buy at your New England Ford dealer now.
That's the time left. The face-off to the left of Graham. Stan Weir against Peter McNabb, who's figured in 4 of the 6 goals with a goal and 3 assists. McNabb gets the draw to Milbury. McNabb, O'Reilly, and Wensing. And Big John has played a fine game with a goal and an assist. At center ice, Park hit. McNabb clears it in. Turnbull back for it. He's on defense with Johansson. Weir, Williams, Ellis the line. Johansson, a long clear out. And the pass up stopped by Park, and Toronto was offside. Well, the goal to remember, Terry O'Reilly's. He broke the 2-2 tie. And this one is an offside pass, so the face-off inside the line. O'Reilly, beautiful maneuver to make it 3-2 late in that second period, his 26th of the year. Jones against McNabb. Wensing keeps it in. McNabb checking Turnbull. And behind the net, Wensing rolled it out. O'Reilly with it. Back to Park. Park screen shot, and it's deflected high at the backboards, bouncing. O'Reilly played it back, left point, Milbury. Checked there. And now out comes Ellis with it. Ellis over the line. Jammed up by Park, and Wensing back to flip it out. Milbury, O'Reilly. O'Reilly by Turnbull over the line. And ridden off the puck hard. Out comes Williams. Checked by Shepard. Williams slides it in wide of Graham. Milbury back. 6-3 lead Boston. To O'Reilly. By Pellick. Good break here. To Marcotte. And the pass broken up. Milbury right back. Play broken up. Park with it. Park clears in. A victory would give the Bruins a 5-point lead and still a game on hand over Buffalo. Boutet breaking it out. Jonathan in pursuit. Puck cleared in by Boutet. Graham trying to clear it. Stopped by Salming. Fed back in wide. Ferguson on it. A pass over to the other side. Marcotte there. Checked. Trying to move it out. Salming sweeps it in though. Back for it, O'Brien. Around the other side, Pellick trying to keep it in. Checked by Jonathan. Hard into the boards. Jonathan's been in a couple of battles. He rattles Sittler. Got a 5-minute major. He was in a later fight with Walker. But then he chipped in with his goal. His 25th of the year. Here in the third period.
They talk about the Bruins being 5 ahead of the Buffalo Sabres. Maybe not quite as important, but still could be a significant factor when it comes to playoff time. Boston would be 4 points ahead of the New York Islanders with 1 game in hand. Having the second best point total in the league when the playoffs start is very important as they get nearer the semifinals and the finals.
And the Islanders upset by the Flames last night in Nassau County Coliseum 5-2. Here it's 6-3 Boston. Puck cleared now by Pellick, icing the signal. In the Ranger game at the end of one, goals by Brad Maxwell, by Talafas, and by Glenn Sharpley. 3 for Minnesota, and for New York, their goals by Walt Tkachuk and Ron Greshner. And Rick Smith there, one of the solid factors for the Boston Bruins this year.
And he's got the number, Fred, in his favor.
The Johnny Pearson number. Or the Eddie Shack number, which?
Well, Eddie Shack, maybe the Eddie Shack number, but 23.
We've had a lot of penalties called by John McCauley, a lot of fighting, a bruising 2 periods, and then the Bruins exploded in the third after O'Reilly had given them a 3-2 lead. Here's Rattel right near the net. Drops it. It bounces to Palmatier, and he's able to tie it up.
The Leafs very disorganized in their own end at this moment. They've been running around a little bit, and of course the Bruins came on with those 3 goals, 4:45 seconds, 3:54, and 5:24 to break it open into a 6-2 lead.
A puck to Lanny McDonald coming up on Rick Smith. Trying to go inside, does. Puck rolls in on Graham. He didn't get a shot. And in the net went Turnbull, the puck out with it. Rattel to Middleton. Middleton trying to beat Wilson into the corner. They battle. Down goes Middleton. Good check by Wilson. Miller throws the body, and the puck in front, deflected by Middleton. It went wide. Sittler trying to come out with Maloney. Rick Smith gets it back to Miller. Miller, good shift over the line. The shot, and it's wide. And boy, he made a fine move at the defense. Sittler loses to Rick Smith. Sittler gets it back. Loses to Middleton, who could really stick handle. Scored a beautiful goal in close. Drops it for Miller. Miller to Rattel, right in. Fails to get the shot away, but Middleton keeps it in, turns around, and the shot goes wide. The rebound, Milbury fires it in. Palmatier obviously frustrated and angry. You can just see by his motions there as the Leafs clear it away. 3-goal lead for Boston. Milbury gets his own pass up to Rattel, but Wensink now has to start the play again. Park spins away from Ferguson. For O'Reilly, the pass broken up by Salming. And with this break in the action, let's pause for this message.
If they grow up, they forget about the parents.
Why not call him?
What, 40 miles?
Well, after 7, dial yourself. No operator involved. It's only $1.05 for toll calls up to 40 miles away.
Yeah?
For 5 minutes.
You love somebody, so keep in touch. 5-minute call doesn't cost much. Just wait till 7 and man alive, you can call 40 miles for $1.05.
Well, we made contact.
Terrific.
This was close for 2 periods, and a lot of penalties called by referee McCauley. A bruising 2 periods, but the Bruins broke it open with 3 at the start of the third. McNabb, Jonathan, and Middleton. But the big one, Terry O'Reilly's, late in the second period. A brilliant rush up the middle. He beat Palmatier to make it 3-2 at the time. Milbury breaks up this one for O'Reilly. Stopped, and Salming rushes. And Wensink caught him. A good check. Salming trying to move, and Wensink caught him at the line. And O'Reilly banging into Williams. And the puck jammed up. As John Wensink got a pretty good piece of Salming, enough to knock him down, and John has played a fine game, a strong game at left wing. Stay tuned immediately following the game for highlights with Tom Larson, highlights of the game, and scores of other action around the league. Peter McNabb with a goal and 3 assists. O'Reilly has a goal and an assist. He's the leading Bruins point man. He's 8th in the standings in the National Hockey League, is Terry O'Reilly. Going into tonight's action. And O'Reilly now has 81 points, which puts him in a tie with Bossy of New York, the rookie, who has 81 points. O'Reilly with his 26th goal, his 35th assist, and we're waiting for play to resume. Don Cherry, well, he'll have his hockey school August 14th, September 1, twin rinks in Danvers, and a lot of the Bruins will be on the faculty, and his brother Dick. I think Dick played more hockey for Boston Bruins than Don Cherry. Don only played 1 game. I think his brother Dick, who came a year or 2 later, is the draw out to Salming. Shot, scores off the faceoff. Salming got that one. The draw to Salming, and he drilled it home with 3:41 left, and it is 6-4.
Boreas Salming, a fine all-round defenseman. Some rate him up in the top 4 or 5 in the National Hockey League. He gets a wicked shot away, a good wrist shot, and he beats Graham through a lot of traffic. And you'll see with 3:41 left to play, it's now Boston 6, Toronto 4. Salming as the Leafs won the faceoff.
And the puck now to Milbury, up for Wensink. He's pinned by Walker. And a face-off called. Salming on the face-off as Weir got the draw to him, and Weir will get the assist. Here it is.
Well, Salming is a very fine skater, very agile, and he likes to move around, and he moved to the opening and then pulled the trigger, and he just got a good shot away through traffic. Look where Graham was, way out of his net, trying to cut down as much of the angle as he could, but he couldn't do it all, and the Leafs have their 4th goal of the night.
Puck driven in the Leaf zone, and Turnbull starts it away to Sittler. Sittler up the middle. The shot, save Graham. Rebound, Rick Smith. Out to Marcotte with Jonathan. Back for Shepard. Shepard over to Marcotte. Blocked. Marcotte in front. The pass blocked. Salming on it again. Now to Sittler. And Sittler with McDonald and Maloney. McDonald a wrist shot, and Graham the save. Puck in the corner. Around it goes. Marcotte trying to move it out, and Shepard does. Ahead. Jonathan's onside. He's got the puck. And he can't beat Palmateer. Tries to drop it in front and can't. Marcotte a drive, and it's blocked by Palmateer. Jonathan was onside, tried to fake around him, and Palmateer just blocked it. Marcotte keeps it in. Now Sittler trying to knock it away, and McDonald gets it out. On a Turnbull, broken up by Shepard. And fed in, and here's Jonathan again, and Palmateer out to smother it. With 2:22 left, the face-off in the Leaf zone. Boston leads 6-4. They had a 6-2 lead, but Boutet from Turnbull and Jones at 8:55. Salming from Weir at 16:19.
Now, Palmateer took a calculated risk, but he lost the battle momentarily. Jonathan had him beat, but he didn't hold the puck long enough. Palmateer just reached with his stick. Of course, that's one of the problems. You want to hold it as long as you can. Jonathan thought he had the open net. He could have held it another second. He would have been all the way by the stick, and the open net was still there.
Butler clears it in the Boston end. Middleton now and Boutet into the corner. And Middleton flips it to Rattel. Rattel ahead, too far ahead of Park. Back for it, Wilson. To Butler, but he handed it right to Park. Now to Miller. Miller clears it in for Rattel. Rattel in deep. Lost it to Wilson. 1:50 left in the game, 6-4 Boston. Boutet broken up by the back checking of Boston, and Miller right back. Gets around Pelech. Has one man to beat. Goes for the shot. Palmateer the save. And Bob Miller lining those shots on the net. And boy, it's going to pay off. He's got 18, but he had a good shot on this one.
Well, here's the value of the good slap shot. When you're this far out, you want to get as much on it as you can and hope. And here's Miller with a drive. Wilson pulls away to give his goaltender Palmateer a better look at it, but Miller almost blasted that one by him.
Boston in front 6-4, 1:38 left. A face-off to the left of Palmateer. Roger Nielsen making some changes. Minnesota 6, the New York Rangers 4, moving into the 3rd period. It's just been posted. Salming a long clear out. McDonald's onside, goes down in the corner, and icing on the play. Beautiful play by Mike Milbury on that one. McDonald had him beaten by a couple of strides, but was going wide to swoop around the puck and get the pass out, and Milbury took the short route.
I think also, too, he might have been a little concerned about Milbury running him into the boards, and so he wanted to come at it at an angle. And he gave Milbury just that little extra second, and that's where body contact and close checking. And Mike Milbury, what a story.
Brad Parks has one of the 8 best defensemen in the league, and Park should know, because if Park isn't first All-Star this year, that'll be a great crime. O'Reilly keeps it in at the line. Now it's knocked away. Milbury pokes it back in. The Leafs get it. Salming to Williams. Fed in behind the net. Milbury can't move it out. McDonald kept it in. A shot right on a save. The rebound by Turnbull, and it goes wide. And that was close. Puck kept in by Wilson. Wilson moves it right in front. Blocked. And not cleared away. McDonald blocked. Now up it goes. Wensick with O'Reilly. 2-on-1. Empty net. O'Reilly looking at the empty net. It is blocked by Salming. They took Palmatier out, and Turnbull back to Sittler. Puck fed in the Boston end. Graham there, trying to clear it around the dasher, but McDonald keeps it in. Extra man on here, and it goes to Williams, to Sittler. A pass in front, blocked, and out of the zone. But a Bruin can't get it. And it's back now to Park. Looking at the empty net, it's pass knocked down by Turnbull. Turnbull fires into the crowd. And with 25 seconds left, Toronto, like the Rangers yesterday, took the goaltender out, trying to get another goal, of course. They needed 2. And the Bruins had a great chance to score, but Salming blocked O'Reilly's bid.
25 seconds left to play in this hockey game, and Boston has jacked up 2 more points. They started the game with 99. They now have 101. And the Buffalo Sabres have 96 as Palmatier has gone back into the goal.
Face off at center ice. 6-4 Boston. Draw to Rick Smith. Fed it into the leaf end. This will be icing. 17 seconds left. And while Don Cherry will be happy with a victory, a little unhappy with the defensive lapses of the Bruins. More 2-on-1 breaks in tonight's game than in many a game for Boston. And Palmatier is out with 17 seconds left. The face-off to the left of Graham. It is 6-4 in this game, and this third period has not been as close as a 6-4 score would indicate. Sittler on the face-off with Shepard. And Nielsen trying to organize, sends Maloney out there now.
Well, the last game the Leafs played here was one of those 3-3 ties. Shepard, I believe, scored at 19:58 to tie it up.
Shepard and Sittler on the face-off. The draw back to Rick Smith, and he clears it out. Could be icing, may not. It's curving. It is. Good hustling by Marcotte, but Salming beat him to it, but that consumed 9 seconds. And 8 seconds left in the game.
We'll be in Cleveland Tuesday night to face the Bruins, Cleveland Barons, and then back here Thursday night against the Chicago Blackhawks. Both games will be carried on 38.
Face-off between Shepard and Sittler. And 8 seconds left in the game. Shepard gets it again. Rick Smith clears it out. Salming drove it back in, and he's bumped by Shepard. And Jonathan moves right in on McDonald with 4 seconds left. It's been a bruising game, as the penalties indicate. A lot of battles starting right after 19 seconds. And 4 seconds left in the game. It would be nice if they could just wind this up now. McCauley is saying something to Jonathan. All right, Jonathan's been battling everybody and scoring goals at a sizzling pace in the month of March. He got a big one tonight. His 25th of the year. Had opportunities for others.
And Peter McNabb picked the puck up and gave it to him. I don't know what's significant about it other than the fact that that may be a milestone in terms of numbers of goals scored for the season. Sometimes players look for
bonus
certain amounts. Yeah, right.
25 goals for Stan Jonathan on a year is excellent work with his fine defensive play. Johansson's shot blocked, and the game is over. And the Bruins post the victory as they salute Ron Graham. And Boston moves 5 points ahead of Buffalo in the Adams division with a game in hand. Score at the finest with the Bruins in the third period tonight. The Bruins scored 3 goals, and Shirley M. Belvinus of Auburn, Massachusetts, Ann Woodman of Quincy, Massachusetts, and Roy R. Cook of Lynn, Massachusetts are winners of 2 tickets to a future Bruins game, plus a $25 food certificate from the finest. Enter now at your finest supermarket and score with the Bruins. The final, Boston 6, the Maple Leafs 4. We'll be back with the summary in just a minute.
The official Bruins yearbook is available at the Bruins Sports Shop in North Station, or write Bruins yearbook, P.O. Box 8725, Boston, Mass. 02114. Please enclose $3 for book and handling.
Hello?
Gordon, where's the package, Gordon? I mean,
Next time, send it Federal Express.
in your ear, because without that package...
I'm a professional stunt driver. The cars I choose for my most dangerous work are Fiats. Sometimes I make a slight mistake in timing and the stunt fails. So I try again. We flush the 131 engine and put in new spark plugs, and I am ready. You see, I believe in myself. I believe in Fiats.
During March, you can get special deals on the incredible 131 at many Fiat dealers.
Kennedy's, the first sale of spring. 20 to 30% off on new spring fashions. The lowest prices of the season. Gather the savings while you may at all Kennedy stores.
The Schlitz Most Valuable Player Award tonight goes to Peter McNabb.
And remember, when watching Bruins hockey, keep plenty of good cold Schlitz Light handy. It took Schlitz to bring the taste to life. Shots on goal, third period, Toronto 9, Boston 13, Toronto at 22, Boston at 32. John, big victory for the Bruins in a very bruising game.
Well, it was a very, very tough game, Fred, and a great weekend for Boston, getting a total of 4 points out of a possible 4. They now have a little cushion ahead of the Buffalo Sabres, and also they've gained some ground on the New York Islanders, which is also an encouraging thing. I said at the top of the thing, as Darryl Sittler goes, so goes the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I thought that the Bruins did an extremely good job on the high-scoring center. They stalled him down most of the night. He only got 1 assist, and when you can do that with Sittler's line, you can beat the Leafs, I think, rather easily. But Boston defensemen did a very good job of playing the body, and they took Sittler and McDonald out at any opportunity, and that slowed the Leaf attack a little bit. But it was the tough going early that really gave the Leafs the problem later on as Boston stormed it in the third period.
So a big win for the Boston Bruins. 2 big wins on the weekend. They continue their mad March pace. Tom Larson has the highlights ready for you. The final score, Boston 6 and Toronto 4. This is the Boston Bruins Hockey Television Network. Tonight's game has been brought to you in part by Schlitz Beer. If you don't have Schlitz, you don't have gusto. And by the Yellow Pages, who say an ad in the yellow puts business in the black. And now Bruins hockey continues with Tom Larson.
Thank you, Fred. The Bruins, with the win tonight, have become the first National Hockey League club to total more than 100 points. That is, first team other than the Montreal Canadiens, of course. They have 11 games left to play. And if they can pick up 16 points out of a possible 22 remaining for them, that would clinch the Adams Division Championship. Even if Buffalo would win all 10 of their remaining games, they wouldn't be able to total enough points to eclipse the Bruins at that point. So the magic number right now is 16, and that is about the pace, 16 points out of 22 that the Bruins have been playing at all year long. They have a total of 11 games left. 5 of those will be on the road, 6 at home. They have 2 against Montreal, 1 against Buffalo, 1 against the New York Islanders, and 1 more against the Toronto Maple Leafs, which will be up there the next time. Final score tonight was 6-4, Bruins over Toronto. We'll be back and check the highlights after this.
Let the good years roll. Rolling, rolling across the USA. Goodyear tires are rolling, rolling right your way. So come on, America, and let the good years roll.
Here they are, America. Goodyear Custom Power Cushion Polyglass White Wall Tires. On sale at 20% off regular price. Get Goodyear's most popular double-belted tire now and save 20% through Saturday night.
Come on, America, and let the good years roll.
The Harley-Davidson Freedom Center, North Billerica, home of the world's fastest pro-stock Harley-Davidson, where you'll find the new lowrider, mag wheels, dual disc brakes, and a seat only 27 inches off the ground. The 75th anniversary Sportster in electric line, sleek black beauties with gold anodized wheels and pinstriping, and the new dual-seat Cafe Racer, 1,000 cc's of V-twin Thunder, and a parts and service department that is unsurpassed. On Route 3A, North Billerica, Mass, the Harley-Davidson Freedom Center. Come on in. According to a recent survey, 64% of Americans get most of their information about what's going on in the world from television. So it's no wonder that viewers are expressing increasing interest in broadcast operations. Joe Domino, general manager of TV 38, answers viewers' questions about TV 38 and the television industry in general every Sunday night at 10 on Ask the Manager. If you have a question you'd like answered, write to Ask the Manager, 83 Birmingham Parkway, Brighton, Mass. And tune in Sunday night at 10.
There was the opportunity tonight for the Bruins to go 5 points up on the idle Buffalo Sabres, but it would be tough because the opposition was the Toronto Maple Leafs. And although the Bruins were 3-0-1 against the Leafs this year, they certainly had not dominated the Leafs. Toronto also had a new man on the ice this evening, Dan Maloney, who had come over from Detroit just recently, and it took all of 19 seconds for him to make his presence known.
And O'Reilly was hit by Glennie as the puck goes in, and here's O'Reilly and Maloney going at it again, right away. Maloney and O'Reilly flailing away at each other.
Call obviously was 5 minutes for fighting, as O'Reilly and Maloney had said their hellos for the evening. Toronto's Dave Williams and the Bruins' Dennis O'Brien got all jammed up less than a minute later, but it wasn't much to talk about. The Leafs then used up a power play between the 3 and 5 minute marks, and the game was about 6 minutes old before either club managed a bona fide scoring threat.
Flips it, but Jonathan has to go to the corner deep. Jonathan wheeling, gets it to Rattel, quick shot, save, Palmetier, best chance of the game, centering pass, bounces Sims, right defense. A screen shot deflected wide.
That was the first serious scoring threat by either team, despite a power play chance each, and it came a full 6 minutes from the opening face-off. It was at that point, though, that the Bruins got the offense functioning.
Park, up for Shepard. Shepard plays it in. Cashman moving in on Maloney, but it ricochets to Shepard. Wheels for a shot that misses. Milbury left side keeps it in. Fires it. Scores! Wayne Cashman! Deflected at home with his back to the net. And Mike Milbury fired across in front. And Wayne Cashman gets his 18th goal of the year.
Well, a beautiful play set up here by Greg Shepard as he banked it off the boards back of the net. Now here's Milbury, who makes a fine play, centering it out in front. Watch Cashman. He's almost in the goal crease, but Salming is on top of him, and he just managed to scoop it back.
That was Cashman from Milbury and Shepard at 7:59, and a 1-0 Boston lead there. Cashman's one of a bunch of Bruins who have shots at 20-goal seasons, and that was number 18. John Wensink is in that group, too. And barely a minute later, Wensink ran his season total to 15.
And McNabb fires in. Wensink trying to get it, gets it over to O'Reilly. O'Reilly back for Park. Park fires. It rolls in front, loose. Shot to score by John Wensink. John Wensink on a turnaround shot in front after Brad Park's drive from the point was stopped. And Wensink makes it 2-0.
Well, Boston has been able to apply all kinds of pressure on the Leafs since almost the opening gun. And here's Wensink perfectly positioned in front. He picked up a loose puck.
Well, the game had already seen 2 fights before half of the first period had gone by. There was another one involving Darryl Sittler and Stan Jonathan. That happened at 11:17. Jonathan got a cut and 5 minutes for fighting. Sittler got just 2 minutes, and Brian Glennie a game misconduct. All that was at 11:17. The first Toronto goal of the night then was scored 1 minute and 4 seconds later.
A man advantage, and we'll have a 3-minute power play. That's a major. Here's a break now, 2-on-1. Weir with O'Brien back alone, Turnbull there, and the pass in front, blocked, score! Weir rolls it in the corner as Stan Weir gets the score for Toronto, and that makes it 2-1.
Well, not a good goal to have scored against the Bruins while they face a 3-minute man disadvantage situation. Here's Weir with a good individual effort, using number 2 Turnbull as a partial screen on O'Brien, and he cut right in front, and that puck eluded Graham.
That was Weir from Ellis and Pellick at 12:21. That brought the Leafs within 1 at 2-1. When Sittler finished his 2 minutes for roughing, that dated back to the altercation with Jonathan, the Leafs had a 3-minute power play operating. Nothing came of that, and nothing on a Boston chance that resulted from Darryl Sittler's hooking call at 15:52. So at the end of the first period tonight, the Bruins led the Leafs 2-1.
This gas nozzle is for unleaded gas. Fits any car. This one is for the less expensive regular. See, they make the regular gas nozzles bigger because a lot of economy cars can't take regular gas. So when you try to put regular into a Toyota, it just won't go. Regular gas won't go into a Chevette or a Pinto either. But when you try to put regular gas into a Subaru, it's a perfect fit.
Errands. More than a name, it's a promise. Errands. In winter, errands. Errands throws snow. In spring, errands. Errands prepares the rows, plants. In summer, errands. Errands mows grass. In fall, errands. Errands vacuums leaves. Errands. Promise. A cut above the rest.
I'm Tom Russell, reminding you that the new Big Money game gives you a new $1 million TV game every week, and you could get your chance at $1 million by matching just one digit. That's what June Lewis of Wendell Depot did. On February 22nd, just 3 weeks after the start of the new game, she became our first new Big Money game millionaire. She won $50,000 a year for 20 years. You could win, too. Just play the new Big Money game with a new $1 million game every week.
There's more time for special times when you do a little better with your money. So, put your money where you do a little better, in a savings bank. 4 million savers in Massachusetts already do, and they have the good times to prove it.
That's why you do a little better at a savings bank.
14 seconds into tonight's second period, Mike Milbury was called for interference, and the Leafs used the extra man to tie the hockey game at 2-2.
Blocked by Graham, trying to clear it himself. Kept in by Samin. Now to Sittler. Sittler in front, score! Lanny McDonald just like that. As McDonald got in position, Sittler set him up in front. And a power play goal by McDonald ties the game at 2.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs worked the Bruins in a position where they came out of that box. Now watch McDonald move into the place where a defenseman should be. Right here, that's Rick Smith in the corner. Now McDonald should have been covered by that box formation. The Bruins were out of it.
The 2-0 lead that the Bruins had once enjoyed had disappeared into a 2-2 tie on the power play goal by Lanny McDonald from Sittler and Salming. There were 33 minutes in penalties that were called in the first period tonight, plus a game misconduct. There were 3 fights. For the Bruins, Stan Jonathan especially was in a most pugnacious frame of mind this evening. Not long after McDonald had tied it, Jonathan got involved in his second bout of the night. This time, it was with Kurt Walker.
They're going at it. Jonathan trying to throw. Walker throws some good lefts. And Jonathan gets him down with that body lift, and the linesman atop the 2.
So with the game only about 22 minutes old, there had been 4 goals scored, and there had been 4 fights. At 12:45, Cashman and Pat Boutette of the Leafs got involved in a stick-swinging thing. That sent Cashman out of the game for a gross misconduct. It left the Bruins, though, with a power play chance, which produced nothing. Watch Graham stop then late in the period. This is a 2-on-1 Toronto scoring bid.
Fires, save, short side save. Puck knocked out, and to Sittler, 2-on-1 with Maloney. Sittler over the line, off for Maloney. Maloney right back, save, a beauty by Graham. And Milbury clears.
But for the most part, the game had been marred by the recurring sight of hockey players pulling, tugging, hugging, and hitting other hockey players. It took Terry O'Reilly later on in the second period to remind us that it was hockey that we were watching.
A breakout for Boston. Wensick coming up on the left side. McNabb has to wind up again, gives it off to O'Reilly. He's up the middle, over the line, he's in. He scores! Terry O'Reilly! A brilliant rush up the middle, between the defense. Drew Palmatier out, and O'Reilly gives Boston a 3-2 lead. Well, this is the hockey player, number 24, Terry O'Reilly, catches the youngster, Johansson. No experience, but this is a magnificent play. He gets Palmatier to commit himself,
and then draws it to the side on the backhand and flips it home.
Pretty goal by Terry O'Reilly. 26th of the season, put the Bruins back up by 1 at the end of 2.
Come on! Come on! Come on, come on, come on and taste the Pepsi way. Come on, come on, come on and have a Pepsi day. You're on the trail of something great. Today was made to celebrate. Come on and have a Pepsi day. Pepsi generation. Have a Pepsi day.
My name is Remy Julien. My stunt team and I do this for a living. People say we must be very lucky. It is not luck. It is engineering and mathematics. In addition, I choose my cars carefully. They must be durable and very reliable, and they must be Fiats. Then, so nothing is left to chance, I carry a rabbit's foot.
During March, you can get special deals on the incredible 131 at many Fiat dealers.
At Kennedy's, the first sale of spring. 20 to 30% off on new spring fashions. The lowest prices of the season. Gather the savings while you may at all Kennedy stores.
It's that time of the year when McDonald's is serving Shamrock Shakes. Take one sip and a little luck of the Irish could come your way.
Come try our Shamrock Shakes now. There's something fun. Good luck may come your way now. They're frosty, triple thick and green. Give one a try. A little Irish luck is easy to come by at McDonald's. Shamrock Shakes, we do it all for you.
Here's to good luck.
There was a time in this game when the Bruins had led Toronto by 2 goals. That was back in the first period, but the Leafs then came back to tie it. The Bruins were operating with a 1-goal lead now at the start of the third period. Less than a minute had gone by when Peter McNabb, with help particularly from John Wensink, ran that lead back to 2 goals.
McNabb breaks it out. Milbury is up and off to Wensink, breaking in. The shot. Save Palmatier. Wensink fights for the rebound. In front, McNabb scores! Peter McNabb from John Wensink as the big left winger made a heavy shot on Palmatier, got the rebound, and McNabb's 35th of the year makes it 4-2.
Well, the good pass here by McNabb starts the confusion right here in the Toronto end. A big stop by Palmatier, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are running around. And watch McNabb right in front. And he farted underneath Palmatier.
It's a good night for Peter McNabb, who had been involved in 3 of the 4 goals to that point for the Bruins. He had assisted on numbers 2 and 3 and had scored number 4. He was also mixed up in the 5th one, which was scored by Stan Jonathan.
Over the line, moving, the shot, scores! Stan Jonathan barreling in. He's had fights, he's had battles, and he's in a scoring streak. His 9th goal in the month of March, and Jonathan makes it 5-2.
Well, Stan Jonathan with a half wrist, half slap. Now you'll notice how short he takes the backswing on the slap shot. That's sort of a half wrist, half slap shot, and he just whistled it by Palmatier, actually.
With those 2 quick goals then to start the third period, the Bruins had taken control of the hockey game. They had established a 3-goal lead. A close hockey game had suddenly turned into something that resembled a rout.
Battling all through the first 2 periods has not worn the Leafs down a little bit, Fred. Boston seems to be now taking charge.
And Rattel off for Middleton. He's in. Scores! Rick Middleton from John Rattel. As Rattel got the faceoff over to him. And Rick Middleton gets number 20 for him to make it 6-2.
Well, this is the goal scorer in Rick Middleton. A nice pass by Rattel, but watch when Palmatier goes down. Rick Middleton pulls the trigger and goes upstairs. Now, that's a great play.
Middleton thus became the 6th member of this Boston Bruins hockey club to score 20 goals. There are several others lined up, ready to be added to that list before the close of the regular season. One of those Bruins is Bob Miller, who had some chances in this piece of action.
Shot. Middleton pokes it in. Rattel hit by Palmatier, who is mad. And here's a pass in front. Miller can't get the loose puck. Nobody in the net. The shot blocked. Miller a shot. Missed the net. Had missed the open corner.
That could well have been the 7th goal for the Bruins, but didn't work out that way, despite a number of good chances on Palmateer. A game that had been tied at 2 at one point had turned into a runaway now by 3 quick Boston goals in the 3rd period. The Leafs then got one of their own to make it 6-3.
Rick Smith hit by Jones. Turnbull rushes with Boutet. The pass to Boutet, and he scores. A 2-on-1 break. Ian Turnbull set up Pat Boutet.
But it was clear that the Bruins were on their way to opening a 5-point lead in the Adams division over Buffalo with the win over the Leafs. Tonight it was now little more than a matter of playing out the remaining minutes to settle on the final score.
And his brother Dick. I think Dick played more hockey for Boston Bruins than Don Cherry. Don only played 1 game. I think his brother Dick, who came a year or 2 later, is the draw out to Salming. Shot, scores off the faceoff. Salming got that one. The draw to Salming, and he drilled it home with 3:41 left. And it is 6-4.
Which, of course, was the final score. The Bruins haven't lost a game at Boston Garden now in their last 11. In fact, a notable number, too, is that over the last 10 seasons, the Leafs have won just 1 game out of 31 that they have played at the Garden. Tonight's final score, Boston 6, Toronto 4.
Is Gillette Foamy thick and rich enough to stop this super sports car? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to support this lovely lady? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to hold up this husky hiker?
No. But if you want a clean, close shave, it's more than thick and rich enough.